What is good, TPA Podcast? It's your boy Big Holla. We are back with another episode, and we got a special guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? My name is Justin Huggins. Man, it's great to be on the show. I'm a big fan. I've been peeping you for a minute, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it. So you go by Just?
Yeah, most of the time, my wife, my homeboys, what I'm saying, people that, my family and stuff, they've been calling me Just, so...
I think you proposed in like sign language, right?
Yeah, man. So it's crazy because my wife is actually fluent in sign language, and when I posted the video, people was like, "Is your wife deaf?"
I thought that too.
I was like, "Nah, bro, she ain't deaf." But she's actually fluent. She was in a congregation that was in American Sign Language, helping out the deaf community. So I had always had a goal of learning American Sign Language.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let me really work on it. And then I met her, and I was like, oh, do you know? And she was like, yeah, I'm actually fluent. And I was like, no, you ain't, bro. What you mean? And so she put me on, and she got me in that congregation. I really started helping the community and stuff. So I was like, man, I want to make this special for her. So I want to do it right. But I didn't just make it up. Like, I went to people in the deaf community and was like, hey, is this the right way to sign it? Is this and that? And they was like, yeah, do it like that. So it worked out.
That's crazy. Cause I thought that too. Cause I had been so like removed from like the social circles from school that I didn't know people was getting married, people was having babies. I knew none of it. Yeah. So like I pop up on Instagram and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah. But then I seen her like, I think talking or one video, and I was like,
oh. Yeah, it's like people really thought she was deaf, bro. They was like, yo, that's crazy, you married a deaf one. I was like, bro, she's not deaf. Like, you just got to, if you know, then you know, but y'all don't know, so it's cool. But no, it was cool, man, being able to propose to her. And she's from like the Athens area, so we did it. Okay. And it's crazy. We had this whole thing planned out, and then the restaurant I was supposed to do it at, they like bailed on us at the last minute, so we was panicking. But then I was like, man, we was sitting at this parking deck and this top of this parking garage, and I was like, man, this would be perfect. Yeah. There wasn't nobody up there. It was, what I'm saying, it was like sunset, like the sun was setting. My whole family was there, her whole family was there. So I told them, I was like, hey, forget it, y'all. We just gonna do it right here. I'm gonna go scoop her up, I'm gonna bring her back, and we gonna do it. Yeah. And it worked out perfectly, man. So it was beautiful.
Now, was that before or after COVID started?
So it's crazy. So we got together in 2018, and then we got like real serious in 2019. And then, so like we was together for a little minute, and I was having trouble. I had messed up my leg, and she was really there for me. So I was like, man, she a real one, bro. So we had went through that whole little time, and I was like, man, I really want to make it to one. So it was around August of 2019 that I proposed, and then in February of 2020 was when we got married. So like we got back from the honeymoon, and like a month later, lockdown.
That's crazy.
It was like perfect timing, bro. It was wild.
Now, a lot of people that were like married before COVID happened, a lot of people started spending more time with each other than they ever spent, and that led to like a lot of divorces, a lot of breakups. How was that transition from seeing each other, like dating, going through the engagement, getting married, and now y'all are like face to face every day?
So I'm gonna be real with you. It was beautiful.
What's up.
It was beautiful so this is how it went, right? So like we got married, and we come back from the honeymoon, and like we I was renting this house. So she had moved in when we got back. I was renting this house in Swanee. So then lockdown hits, pandemic hits, it's going crazy, and our lease was up in May. My lease was up. So I was like, dang, it's March. I got April and May to figure out where I'm finna go. But there, like, nobody was accepting any, you couldn't go no apartments. You couldn't go, everything was locked down. So I was like, what are we gonna do? So what's crazy is my wife, like I said, from Athens, her family owns a huge property in on that side of town in the country. And I'm not a country dude. And I wasn't sure at first, but they was like, y'all can go stay on our property. They had a little spot for us over there. So we was like, all right, bro, I loved it. Bro, I'm telling you, I loved it, bro. Like, so we came down and we were staying on the property, and like, so it was lockdown, so we couldn't go nowhere. But like, they have like, I don't know how many acres, but like they have it's called Thurman Circle. They got this whole little circle, and if you run it like the whole circle, it's like 2 miles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like 2. I mean, and it's all family. And they got cows and pigs and chickens. I'm talking about like farm life, bro. And so like there was times where I'm doing a little jog around, and there's a little cow over there chilling, and I'm like, no, bro, go the other way. But it was cool because like when it was so quiet and peaceful, and it's like nothing but family over there. Like we go into the backyard and they shooting in the backyard because it's cool. And like the law will stroll by, and oh, what's up, y'all? Oh, what's up? Keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Her uncle got a little pool that he built with his bare hands in the back. He got a jacuzzi. He got like all this. And it's lit, and we over there just chilling on the farm and on the dirt road and having a great time. And the whole time, it was like me and her, we were forced to have those conversations that you need to have.
Yeah.
We were forced to, when we had issues, we got to talk it out. When stuff come up, we ain't had no choice. I couldn't leave and go hang out with my homeboys or go work out at the gym or go we had to face it.
Yeah.
And I really think that all that, plus her family was real cool with me. They was like, we got real close and everything. My mom was great. But that whole time, it really made us like, man, we really have to work on like the things about ourselves that we are bringing out of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it really showed me that I needed to be patient. I needed to be more considerate. I needed to, instead of sitting here thinking like, what is she offering me? I need to sit here and think, how can I support her? How can I be that dude for her? And so to me, it was like 6 months, 5 or 6 months. I forget how long the lockdown lasted, but once it was over and we moved into our spot that we're at now, I think that time frame really helped us, so that now that we have our own place, we've already had those conversations. I mean, and stuff come up like always, but we've already had those conversations that make us, that help us to have a foundation. Yeah. And I think that's really important. My mom always told me that growing up. She said, you always got to have that something to rely on, something to fall back on. And I think that was a good foundation for us, to start our marriage off, so that, in that way, so that when stuff comes up, we can be like, hey, we're used to having those conversations. Yeah. We're used to approaching it in this way or that way. So I got to say, man, it helped. It drawed us closer. And 2021 was a crazy year. 2020 was crazy. 2021 was crazy still. But I think things have those years really helped us to get to where we're at now.
Yeah, that's really dope, because I think what may have helped y'all and hurt other people is a lot of people, they're in relationships. They have husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. They don't have partners though.
Right.
So I feel like early in y'all's relationship, y'all are still in that not honeymoon phase, but kind of like,
yeah, we're still new.
It's still new, and that forced y'all to become partners. Yeah. Right. Like, hey, look, this is a team effort. If we work as a team, we could get through this. I think that's one of the most important things that lead to like the destructions of people's relationships like these days.
Absolutely, man. I feel like when people don't come to, because I tell you like this, man, when me and my wife had first got together, I had broke my leg. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't put on pants. I couldn't do nothing. And so she was coming from the Athens area, picking me up in Beaufort and taking me to Grady in Atlanta to go to all my doctor's appointments. Bro. All of them. I'm not talking about like, I do one here and there. All of them. Be coming to the crib, hanging out with my mama, hanging out with my brother, my sister, kicking it. Like all the while, I'm learning how to walk again. Yeah. And so like that hit me, because I'm like, bro, I had people, and no cap, we had just started kind of dating for real, getting serious. I had people who was trying to get at me, trying to be cool with me, that I had known for like years, who wasn't coming to say what's up, wasn't trying to check on me, wasn't nothing. And I'm sitting here like, dang, I've been cool with this girl since I was 15 years old, 16, but now I broke my leg, and I told her. And now she ghosted me. But this girl that I just started dating, I've only known for really a year now. She really in there with me, and she really, and so that hit me. I was like, how can I turn her down for real?
Yeah.
And so, when we go through hard times in our relationship, I look back and I'm like, man, she really stuck it out for me because she saw what was going on with me. I can't just bounce on her like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. And I think like obviously I've never met her, but like judging by what you say about her, I could say she seems like somebody who came to the table thinking like, what can I do for you, right? Most people walk into relationships, I think, and they're like, what you gonna do for me? That's why when you call people like, yo, my leg broke, they like, you can't do nothing for me.
Exactly.
Peace.
Exactly. And everybody wants to know what they can get out of it instead of, what they can offer. And I think that's a big mentality that people have to have. And I've learned that, like I said, especially with teaching and coaching. I mean, it's a lot of these kids can't offer me nothing.
Yeah.
They're kids, they're children. So I feel like that's not what this is about. It's about how can I impact these kids? How can I be a member of my community that's a powerful person, not where I'm like dominating over people, but when I'm helping raise people up. Yeah. Especially these young black men. I'm trying to tell you. These young black men, when they ain't got dads and they ain't got older brothers and uncles and all that kind of stuff to look to, I really just try to say, hey, I ain't gonna force it on you, but I'm really trying to be there for you and help you. So that's huge, man.
So like, did you think about marriage before you decided to propose?
Yeah, man. I mean, we had conversations about it. And for me, cause I'm gonna be real with you. She told me she loved me like 3 months in, but she was like, I love you. And I was like, But the thing was that I felt like it wasn't that I didn't reciprocate the feelings. It was, for me, it was like, I don't want this to be fake.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be a situation where because I had been in that before, where I'm like, oh yeah, I love you, you love me, oh yeah, it's gravy. And it's just, what I'm saying it just to say it.
Yeah.
It's just saying it because you want to hear it. Like, I didn't want that. So I held out. I waited. I was like, I ain't telling y'all I love y'all. I want you to know it before I say it. And I want to feel like it's there beforehand. And so, I at first it took me a little minute, but once I really realized, like I said, she was taking me to all these doctor's appointments and she's cooking for me, coming over to the house, meeting my mama and meeting my sister and all this, and I'm meeting her family and it's the vibe and all that kind of stuff. I had thought about it and, things were just going gravy. So we had some conversations and I went with her sister to check out some different ring places and we figured out what she wanted and got her the ring she wanted and, did the whole proposal thing. But for me, we had conversations, not just about getting married, but about like the being married part and because I feel like a lot of people just want to get married.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but it's a lot of women that just say, oh, I just want the ceremony. They just want the ceremony. They just want to be dolled up and have a beautiful day all about them and have a perfect wedding day and all that. And it's like, yeah, who doesn't want that? But that's just one day of the rest of your life. And that's how I view it. I don't even say the word divorce, man. I'm like, it's the rest of our lives, man. Yeah. So, I think those conversations about like, hey, this is the kind of husband that I want to be. Not this is how I want my wedding day to be. We talked about that, but it was more so about, hey, this is how we're supposed to communicate, how we're supposed to respect each other, how we're supposed to show appreciation, and learning the ways that she wants it. Because I had no idea. You might think you've been dated before and you've done this and that. But you never know what that person really wants. Yeah. Until you have those conversations. So that really helped me really be like, you know what? She's the one I wanna make it happen with.
So what are some of the things that you wanted though?
So for me, man, I really, and she did it from the jump, but I really wanted somebody to support me when it wasn't beneficial for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I hadn't even graduated yet. I was still in college. I was still, I was trying to make ends meet. And what's crazy was I was doing personal training, and then I was doing that along with some of the stuff I was doing for teaching. And then the pandemic hit, so I couldn't do personal training anymore. The gyms had closed. But I really wanted somebody who was going to love me and support me through the ups and downs. Because I had been in a lot of relationships where when it's great, when it's good, it's great. But when things are tough and, it wasn't really working out that well, they skate, and I'm like, man, I don't want that. I want somebody who's really gonna be down for me. I wanted that. I wanted somebody who was gonna be able to be close with my family, because I'm huge on family. You know what I'm saying? I got a little brother now. I haven't had a relationship with my dad since I was little. So, you know, that for me, it really impacted me, because I'm like, man, I don't want to be that. I don't want that. I want to have that family bond, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for her to be huge on family too, and have a big family and be close to my family, I was like, man, I need that. I need that to be a part of my life, where she can be close to my mom and my brother and my sister, and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I wanted those things. And it sounds corny, but I wanted a spiritual woman. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, you know, they kind of afraid to talk about that kind of subject and stuff, but I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. I wanted a spiritual woman. And knowing her, she was, you know, she was strong, she was independent, she was doing her thing, but she's very active in her congregation. She always had been, and that was a part of what she was doing, learning American Sign Language, was helping the deaf community. And I'm like, a lot of people don't, like, just like I said, that the deaf community don't really do much for her, but she's impacting them, trying to help them. And she was giving people rides to the grocery store and taking them home, and, you know, doing Bible study with them and stuff. And so I was like, you know what, man, that just goes to show, you know, a woman in her early 20s, she could do a lot.
Yep.
But to be out here dedicating time towards that kind of thing, now, don't get me wrong, she still turn up with you. That's and I wanted that for sure, both sides. But she's dedicating her weekends, dedicating her free time, you know, going and impacting a community that's really disadvantaged. And so to me, that says a lot.
Do you feel like, well, you said she did that stuff from the jump. Do you feel like there was ever a time you needed to express, like, I also need this, or was she really like she came as like the package for you?
No, there was plenty of times where, for both of us, for her needing to tell me, and it still happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Real with you, it still happens. But there's always been times where it's like, hey, I need you to know that this is what I need. These are my wants and these are my needs, and to let her know the difference. Like, hey, yeah, I want you to, you know, be doing this. Yeah, obviously, I work out a lot. That's always been my thing, and I tell her, like, I want you to be, you know, active, and she is, but that's not a need for me. But when I tell her my needs, I'm like, yo, I need this in order for us to succeed, and she does the same back. And that's just how I look at it. And the crazy thing is that I, you know, that's why I've learned patience, because there's been times where I'm like, hey, I need this, and then I say it again later, I need this. Look, man, I done told you I need, but that's part of being patient. Is understanding that you might say something one time and they hear you, but it's like, you know, because they still adapting to really the lifestyle that you're trying to live, and especially as the husband, you know, being the leader of your house, man. Like, you gotta understand, she ain't never lived, unless you know, y'all have lived together. We didn't live together before we got married, but unless y'all live together, you know, she don't know what your home life, what you want your home life to be like, and you don't know what she wants. I tell you, man, we fought. We were not necessarily fought, but we got into arguments about washing the dishes, for real. Because
who wanted the dishes washed?
So what happened was, I always grew up with a dishwasher. She never grew up with a dishwasher, so she wants all her dishes washed by hand. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you rinse it and you put it in the dishwasher and you put a little soap in that mud and you keep it moving. And so we had got into arguments about it, and it's little stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing big, but we just figured out, you know what? Okay. I was like, you know what? She wants a hand wash. Cool. I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna hand wash it. And it's wild, because now, when I wash the dishes, I hand wash them, and when she washes them, she uses our dishwasher.
That's so funny.
She really does.
You know, it's crazy. I think my mom we had a dishwasher. My mom never let us use it.
Word?
Yeah, we had a dishwasher.
That's
I used to
wild.
be so mad. Like, why? The only time we use a dishwasher is like after Thanksgiving or like after Christmas dinner. So hand washing, and my mom was like, there should never be dishes in the sink. She was one of them.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, you do it, you wash it. When you cook, clean up while you cook. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Type stuff. So, but what is one of the things that she told you she needed that you were totally oblivious about?
All right, let me. That's a good question. Man, something that she asked of me that I didn't know. Well, you know what? I'll put it to you like this. Um, it wasn't really an insecurity thing, but she wanted me to, like, if I was gonna do something, if I decided, hey, this is what I'm gonna decide to do, even if it was a little thing, she wanted me to tell her first, not so she could control it, not so she could tell me no or nothing like that, but she wanted to feel like she was an active part of what I was doing.
Yeah.
For example, the smallest of things, if I'm at work and I'm taking a lunch break, and I'm like, I'm gonna give me some from down to some Subway from down the street or something. She wanted me to tell her, like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm getting some Subway for lunch. Cool. And so, because she felt like, she was like, you know what, I want to feel like, especially with us being brand new, I want to feel like I'm your wife and I'm one flesh with you. I'm part of you, to where our communication is constant. It's always there. So I said, you know what? I feel that, and that's because I had been single for the longest. I'm talking about single. I had my own spot, did my own thing. I ain't answer to nobody, and so I was like, you know what? That's real, because if something happened to me, she knows where I'm at. If let's say, for example, I go to Subway, I forget my wallet or something, I could say, hey, babe, can you come drop off something for me? For whatever the case, she wants the communication there. And to be honest with you, it sets a good pattern for the future, because if we just automatically communicate, then we ain't got to worry about, oh, I didn't know, or I wasn't sure, or you never told me, or I didn't know that. So it was just something that never really crossed my mind, like a little thing, where she was like, oh, I need you to really communicate with me. And I know too, because, of her past experiences in childhood and, stuff like that, interactions with her family that she has seen negative stuff, she wanted to make sure that the communication was there. I tell you something funny though, was that she hated when somebody would cook for me.
Really?
I'm gonna be honest with you, she never said the words, but she hated it. So I knew how to operate now.
Like a somebody's mom that's on the team or something like that.
Right. So what happened was right, on Thursdays, before the JV games, they would always have a senior meal.
Yeah.
So as coaches, we'd go and we'd eat the senior meal with the seniors and stuff. And so she would so at first she didn't really know about it, like how it goes. So she'd be like, oh, you want me to cook you something for dinner or not? And I'd be like, no, I'm straight. She's like, what you mean you straight? I'm cooking dinner for you, because she loves to cook. Yeah. So I'm like, no, I'm straight. They feeding us up at the school. Who feeding you? I said, they feeding us. Who is they? The kids, parents and stuff. Okay. They feeding you, so you don't need nothing from me no more, huh? I'm like, babe, they feeding everybody. Okay. So it became a little joke, but I always knew, because like if somebody was at work and they were like, hey, I got a little lasagna I made and we're just passing it around to anybody, and I'd be like, damn, I'm gonna have to tell my wife that somebody made lasagna and I had some. She go, who made you lasagna? What's her name? How did she give it to you? I'm like, all right, I know what's up.
Did she make it just for you? Or
right.
Yeah.
Was it for everybody? So I was like, man, she hates, but it's just, little funny things like that I would say, what I'm saying? I just, and I gotta say too that very little things that somebody might say, your partner might say, it can stem from their childhood, and it can become a big thing if you don't address them at the time. So like I said, the communication stuff and little things like that, just letting her know, hey, this person cook and this is what it is. Later down the line, it can be like, oh man, we ain't been communicating. Yeah. Something happens. Oh man, I don't know, because you don't talk to me. You don't do. So I feel like setting it from the top, from the jump, it really sets the tone for the rest of the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. I think one of my problems, like in relationships, was kind of the same thing, but I don't think I started out not communicating. I think I over communicate, because I think I want you to know how you could play your cards.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But then there comes a time where like, it's like, the comfort sets in,
and
then it's like, dang, I feel like I'm the only one on this team.
I feel that.
So then like I start to make decisions for myself because it's like I don't have a teammate in this world. Yeah. So, and then things fall apart from there.
Oh, I hear that.
But what do you think is different from your mindset in dating and then your mindset going into this marriage?
Man, I tell you, like I said, patience. I was not a patient person.
Yeah.
Before we got married, I was like, man, I need this to happen right now. I need, whatever. I need you to be on the same page with me right now. I need, all this kind of stuff. I wasn't patient, and then I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Like I was a flirt. Like I don't know. I don't know. You remember from high school, bro? I was, you know what I'm saying. So my thing was like I really had to figure out how to turn that part off of, and it's crazy, bro. Because I feel like some people be like, "What you mean? What you mean you had to?" But like I really had to, because it was for me. I was always on. I was like, that's just who I am.
Second nature.
Yeah. So I had to figure out like, okay, when I'm at work, I got to turn that off.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I get home, I got to turn it right back on. And for me, it was tough because I was like, man, all day I'm turning it off. And then I get home and I got to turn it back on. And it was just weird for me to have to change that mindset like that. Just it was just weird for me. So I was like, man, I'm really having to work on this. And I really struggled with it, for a little bit. And even my wife was like, babe, why you don't look at me the same, this is, and I told her, I was like, babe, like I'm, you know me, how I was when we met and all this, about my past and stuff like that. Like I'm a flirt. If you bumping my ego up, I'll be like, okay, girl, I see you, whatever. But I had to just be like, okay, I gotta put that away. But then when I get home, I gotta turn it back on for her because she needs me to be able to flirt and be able to boost her up and still do that, still do it now. And so, that was tough for me to just change who I was at my core, because I wasn't, even if I didn't have bad intentions, I was just a flirt, and I was, I'm flirty with you and I'm handsy and I'm, hey, hugged up and cuddled up and I'm like, man, I got to turn it off. Yeah. So that was just something I had to really, I had to work on, and I think that everybody has different things they got to work on, and so for me, I was like, ooh, that's tough.
So what else do you do for the school? So you work with the special needs at Central?
Yeah. So I teach special ed. The type of kids that I teach, and it's stuff I didn't even know when I was in school. Yeah. But I just thought, oh, there's just one kind of special ed category and that's it. But no, there's a lot. There's a lot of classifications. And so I teach special ed, and so the classification that I teach, it's called severe and profound intellectual disability. Yeah. So like the kids that we have, their cognitive abilities are compared to that of a child that is about, I think, 16 to 18 months old. Okay. So, between 1 year old and 2 years old, cognitively, that's where they're at. Now, they're capable of doing a lot of different things, and they're capable of, they can be real smart, but just their, the mental processing and social skills and, different things of that nature is really kind of at that age range. So I teach those level of kids, and I tell you, I prefer to teach special ed kids compared to the general population.
Why do you think that?
Because them kids is crazy. I'm trying to tell you, bro. And like I was telling you before, I look back at when I was a kid, when we was in school, and I'm like, was I doing that? Like, was I that disrespectful? Was I, like, we've had where 2 students jumped a teacher, bro.
What?
For real. And like I'm cool with the nurse. Yeah. She be putting me on game with everything that be going on in the school, bro.
That's
like
crazy.
I'm talking about guns on campus regularly, 6 to 10 fights a day.
At Central?
Yes, people be in there fornicating, sir. Like
that was definitely going on,
bro. Like
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, like they out here wilding. And the thing I feel like is different is like we had like maybe one person that I could remember of that I was like, man, she was just disrespectful to everybody. But like everybody be disrespectful. Like,
Yeah,
like
facts.
I almost got into a fight with a kid because Buddy was up on me crazy. I said, bro, you really want to do this? I said, there ain't no cameras in my classroom, bro. Come on in here, let's talk.
Yeah.
Because if you want these hands, bro. I was like, what is you, bro? It's just the level of like they want to act like they're adults.
Yeah.
And have the repercussions of a child. And I'm like, you can't get both.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
facts.
saying? So because I tell them, I'm like, look, the kids in my classrooms, when they act out, I know cognitively they don't understand everything that's going on. They're not capable of holding themselves back. Sometimes they, cognitively they just can't do it. But you as a sane and whole human being, despite you being 15, 16, 17, you have the ability to say, I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I shouldn't talk to someone like this. I shouldn't act out. I shouldn't. And you do it anyway.
I think a lot of that boils down to being programmed that way, though. Some people are just programmed.
And parenting.
Yeah,
For sure.
Exactly. And I think that just bleeds over into a life where, I may see your kid an hour a day, and that 5 hours a week may equal more than you see your parents a week.
Yep.
But what the time they spent working when you were little and the world was raising you, you was learning stuff from being outside with the teenagers. So you're looking at things they're doing and not necessarily understanding the repercussion. It just look cool to you. Right. So when you get that age, you replicate it, and now you're facing consequences that you didn't know existed.
Absolutely, man.
So
absolutely, because I'm telling you, man, like I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of stuff, and so I tell you, like I said, I try to be a positive influence. I try to, in any chance I get, I try to be like, hey, let me help you out. Whether you need, help with this class, or you need me to walk you to class, you need to just have a conversation where you just let stuff out. Yeah. But man, they be wilding.
You think it was worse than when we went?
So I'm gonna put it to you like this: if you remember in like 08, 09, 2010, you remember all the gang stuff that was going on? Like the gang stuff was heavy. That was going on back then. That part's not happening now. Okay. But like the gun stuff where kids are bringing guns to school and having sex out there crazy, because I'm telling you, the stories are wild. Doing that, the drug stuff that's going on. Like,
you didn't know sex was going on in Central when you was there?
I mean, I knew it was, but like I'm telling you, like, it was like, oh, okay, this people, whatever that group, okay, they talking about it, they doing it, whatever. But like, everybody's doing it now.
I'll say this. You'll be surprised. I think because we were in like accelerated classes together. Yeah. So the path we were on, I think I interweaved like different friend groups. Like I didn't have like a particular friend group. I would hang with everybody. And what I realized is there was a lot of things that we were focused on getting our schoolwork done. You play football, I played baseball, basketball. There were a lot of things going on under our nose that we had no clue. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. But now from a teacher's perspective, you get all that information.
Yeah. And I think I see that. And it's funny you say that, because I do feel like in Central, like back at Central when we was there, I feel like everybody kind of knew everybody. Like you said, you was in different groups and stuff. Like you kind of knew people and stuff. But I'm gonna be real with you, I didn't know certain like people's situations and what was going on. Like you said, behind closed doors and stuff. Like I kind of knew what my friend, like the people I knew, and people like I had some people who lived with me for a little minute, and like I knew their stuff and everything like that. But like later on down the line, like I found out, like, oh dang, this person's parent died, or this, this person's cousin is locked in jail, or this person, their brother is this and that, and so then you like, dang, I had no idea that was going on. So I think that kids are doing kid stuff nowadays, but I just feel like I don't know, maybe, but I feel like now they trying to be grown. Yeah. Like the outfits they be wearing and stuff. I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, yeah.
But like maybe you remember. I remember maybe one person. I remember one girl that really wore makeup to school. Yeah. Oh, I remember her name, but she wore makeup. she wore like them outfits from like anime and stuff, and I don't know if she wore a wig or not, but she like, you know, she made herself known with everybody, and now everybody, like them little long eyelashes that be all the way out there, they all wear them. They got the wigs, the weaves. They do it. I ain't hating on them or nothing, but they doing all this. I mean, made up, all that kind of stuff. They do it like every day, and I be sitting here like, why y'all coming to school all dolled up? And don't let it be the beginning or the end, like the beginning of the first semester, like in August, September when the weather's warm, and then the end of the second semester when the weather's warm, bruh, be showing everything. You know, they come to school in one outfit, change up. I've seen it. Walk into the bathroom wearing one thing, walk out with the little crop top, the little shorts, and showing everything, be trying to post up.
Yeah, we gotta give a little bit of thanks to Soulja Boy, all right? Cause
he made you cover up.
Yeah, he had people out here wearing 2X t-shirts,
2X and 3X,
you know what I'm saying?
For
but
sure,
now,
for sure.
What we see on the screen is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I knew it was different. I came to a football game one time, and kids were wearing Alexander McQueen shoes. I was like, what?
Yep.
What? That's crazy.
Yep.
Like the nicest thing people had back when we was in school was like Jordans.
Yeah.
And now that's kids is wearing like designer. I'm like what?
Yeah. It's out. It's happening, bro. Like kids are wanting to, like I said, they want to be, like they want to act like adults and do the things that adults do, but without the repercussions.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think was one of the biggest hurdles you had to get past in making your mind able to deal with these are kids and this isn't a part of me anymore?
Well, I think that really these past years of coaching really helped me see, because there's kids that like I see when they act out, I see why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And that kind of really showed me like, dang, like I have to be the adult in this situation. I can't be the kid no more. And like it's crazy because a lot of the kids, like they'll see me on Instagram or somewhere, they be like, Coach, you dance and stuff, you be having fun, and you be like, yeah, bro. Y'all don't know that, because when I'm at work, I have to be the adult. Yeah. Because you know, I of course I want to have fun, I want to turn up, I want to do all this kind of stuff, but like when kid like we had one kid who he was constantly acting out, constantly getting in trouble, and they wanted to kick him off the team. Yeah. And I had to really have that kind of heart to heart with him to let him know, like, look, man, you a young black man, and you in like on this school campus, if you act out, you're gonna get a second chance. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get that. But as soon as you step off this campus, and you out here in the real world, and you want to turn up on somebody because they said something you don't like, or a police officer asks you to do something you don't want to do, or you know, whatever the case may be, you don't get no second chance. Yeah. It's either that you might end up in jail, in prison, or you might end up dead. Yeah. And I had to let him know, like, we are the people who are trying to help you learn how to operate these situations. Yeah. At certain times, you got to be humble and shut up. At certain times, you got to turn up on somebody. Yeah. And I was trying to tell him, like, when you on the field, that's when you turn up. Yeah. That's when you smack somebody in their mouth and you, I'm this and I'm that. When you step off the field and I'm trying to coach you to have the proper technique, the proper alignment, assignment, the proper, you know, whatever the case may be, as your coach and as someone who's there to help you, you gotta shut up and say, yes, sir. Even if you don't like what I'm saying, yes, sir. Because at the end of the day, when you have a police officer over here in your face ready to blast on you, and he telling you, this and that, and you ain't nothing, and blah, 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 he say something you don't like, at the end of the day, to survive the situation, you got to shut up and say, okay. Yeah. All right. But then, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, it might be a situation where you need to protect your family. You might need to turn up, but you have to understand how to operate those situations.
Yeah, navigate through them.
And that's what, and I feel like helping kids with those kind of things helped me to realize, like, I'm not a kid no more. This ain't, you know, this ain't about having fun and I have fun, don't get me wrong, but this is about what it's about at the core is helping these kids to move forward and progress and grow as men, because a lot of them don't have father figures, don't have brothers and uncles and all that. They need that.
Yeah. So what was because you're the head coach, right?
No, I'm not the head coach.
Okay.
I coach the linebackers.
Okay.
That's the position I coach.
How difficult is it to train somebody in something that you once did?
So and it's so crazy because the head coach that we have was one of our coaches when we were there.
Really?
Coach Jason Thompson.
Is Coach Baxter still there?
Coach Baxter is still there.
Oh, man,
Coach Baxter's
tough.
there. Coach Braxton's there. Coach Thompson's there. So it's crazy because I'm like, they coached me. You know what I'm saying? So that part is crazy. But for me, one thing is I try to help them understand, and I try to have the mindset of they don't have the experience that I have now. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't have that yet. They don't have the mentality yet. Some of them don't have that dog mentality you need to have as a linebacker. Some of them don't have that experience, but also, you know, some of them will make it to the next level and some of them won't.
Yeah.
And being able to understand, like, just because when we was in school, I mean, we had some dogs when we was in school, you know, but to understand, like, okay, I can't approach the situation the same way because coaching now is totally different. Coach Baxter used to jack me up, bro. He used to grab me on my shoulder pads and be like, "Look, bro, you need to get it together."
Yeah.
But I can't do that now because these kids are different. If I jack you up, your mama is gonna be calling my boss and is gonna want my job. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I can't do that. But I gotta know now, like, okay, how do I talk to them? How do what words do I use? What words do I not use? You know, and that's what I've learned too. You have to build a relationship with them first before you can really discipline them and before you can really, you know, let them know that you have their best interests at heart. You really got to build that bond with them. So for me, I really try to build a bond with them first, and I try to help them understand, like, look, man, I'm not trying to make you be like me. I'm trying to make you the best you that you can be. So if this is your skill set, it might not have been mine when I was playing. It might not have been the same thing, but if this is your skill set, let's build on that. If you fast and you tall, I was never tall and all that. You 6 foot and you know fast and you long and all right, let's expand on that. Let's get you and let's put you in position to succeed from there. Yeah. So, you know, it takes time, but when you learn the kids, when you really bond with the kids and you see where their head is at and you see what they're capable of, I think that really helps you to be able to really understand how to coach them in the most successful way for them.
Yeah. How much pressure is it on you to, like, or the team to win as a coach? Because obviously, like, when we were coming up, we wanted to do as good as we can so we could possibly move on to the next level of that sport. But, like, for you, how much do you want to help the kid versus actually win?
Well, for me, man, I look at it as like how we have our preseason stuff, we have our you know, regular season stuff, we have workouts and OTAs and all that kind of stuff. I really try to look at it as having it like blocked off to where it's like, okay, we have these goals from this time to this time, let's reach those goals. So for me, if our kids can reach the goals that we have set for them at that time, it's going to help them get to that next level, and it's going to help us get to where we're trying to go. Okay. So we make it so that we have certain goals. For example, if I have one of my linebackers that he needs to get to a certain weight, or he needs to get to a certain speed, or he needs to lift a certain amount of weight by a certain amount of time, I know that if he can reach his goal by that time, it'll help him move forward, but it'll also help us win. So we go with that approach, but at the end of the day, our job is to win. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I really try my best to help kids to understand what kind of system we have. So if we have we have a system where we really play so that our linebackers get most of the tackles on our team. That's how we run our defense. So with that, I try to help our players. For example, our defensive line, I try to help them understand, like, look, this is not set up for you to make tackles, but you can still make the play by doing your job.
Yeah.
And I try to help them to see, if you do your job the way you're supposed to do it, one, you're going to have that on film. You're going to be able to show other coaches, hey, I do exactly what I'm supposed to do. I'm in this position. I have this form, this alignment, this assignment. I'm here. That looks good for you, but it also sets up the rest of our team to be successful, and we win in the end.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, there might be a kid who's like, hey, coach, I really feel like I should be playing this position. But for us to win, I'm like, look, you're going to have to change your mindset, because we need you to play this position.
Yeah.
So, you know, we see a lot of that months in advance, because we're always looking at, okay, who do we got? Where do they best fit? How do they fit our system? What do we need to change about our system for it to work? But one thing that our head coach said that really stuck with me is that he says we can't ask our kids to do stuff that's too much for them. Sometimes in situations you're asking somebody to do something that they really can't do. If you're a kid and you're 5'6" and 120 pounds, and I'm asking you to run and smack another kid who's 6 foot 220,
Yeah.
I'm asking you to do too much.
Yeah, facts.
So sometimes we do have to look back and say, you know what? Are we asking our kids to do too much? Do we need to change it up? Do we need to, you know, say this or say that, or change completely? And we've done that a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, obviously it's a balance of both. But I know for me personally, if we can have our kids reach their goals and succeed in that manner, it's going to help us win in the long run. So that's the approach that I try to have with it.
Yeah. What type of media do you take in to help you develop these thought processes?
So we have coaches clinics because we had one recently where they'll have, you know, coaches from, you know, universities come down. Like we had a great coach Patrick Toney, mm-hmm. come from he was a linebacker coach too, and he came from Florida, the University of Florida. Yeah. And he came up to Atlanta, and we went to this, it's called the Glazier Clinic. We went down there, and he did like a 45-minute PowerPoint on the coaching tips and coaching strategies that he uses to put his guys into a position to succeed. Yeah. So I went to that, and I took a lot of notes and took pictures and stuff, and got his personal information, and, you know, because networking is really big. And so, you know, I got a lot of great ideas from him. I also try to do camps where they have coaches. Most of the time they'll pay, but sometimes it's volunteer. Yeah. But you go and you'll have maybe 8th graders or 9th graders, or, you know, some kids who are, you know, decent. Sometimes you'll have some kids that's really good at these camps, and you got to coach them up to do better. And so, you know, I'll be coaching, but I'll also be seeing other coaches of my position group that will be saying certain things and implementing certain drills and doing stuff like that to really help. I do, you know, I'll jump on Instagram and YouTube sometimes and watch some different videos, you know, here and there. But a lot of times you'll see guys that will use the same drill, mm-hmm. but they'll have different cues. And I think the cues are the biggest part of it, where, you know, one coach might, you know, he might be trying to harp on you to have you do something, but he's not really saying the words that really connect with you to help you understand what to do. And so you'll have a coach he'll use something simple, a simple cue, a simple phrase to say to you, and it really connects, and you're like, oh, okay, I need to do that. So, you know, you don't really know until you learn it from these coaches with a lot of experience. So, but also too, you know, our head coach and our defensive coordinators, I try to sit in with meetings with them and pick their brains sometimes about stuff that they've come up with, and so that's really helped me a lot too. But there's a variety of things, man. I try to make sure I reach all those avenues, mm-hmm. to be able to improve as a coach.
That's what's up. Because I remember, I forgot how I found out you were a coach. It was either Instagram, or I know I seen you at a game, but I knew you were the coach before that.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Instagram. Like, well, yeah. My guy Malik was up there. You know what I'm saying? I've been going to his game since he was like in like 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Malik Millet? Okay. Okay, yeah.
We actually grew up in the same neighborhood. So,
word?
yeah. He used to be outside. We used to, like, hoop from when he couldn't even get the ball to the hoop.
Isn't
bruh.
that crazy to see them get to where they're at
Yeah,
now? And
bruh.
it's like, what? I know you since you was a baby.
Yeah.
Now I feel like the old folks who said that to me.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, dang, I'm them now. I'm the old uncle who's saying, I remember you when you was a baby. Like I hated that, and now I'm saying it. It's wild, man.
Yeah. Are any of the kids, like, kids that you know from outside of school? Like, maybe like somebody that you grew up with that's their child, or
So not at Central. At there were some other schools that like I had known the parents. I had known there was one of my homeboys from way back when, like right after we graduated, he had one of his kids was playing for one of the little leagues that he was over there. And so at Central right now there's not any kids that I've known from like when they were younger. There was, like, before I got there, I don't know if you remember Chris Schelling. He was dark skinned, and so he was one of those kids that, like, I grew up with. I remember when he was like in middle, like not even in middle school. I think he was in like elementary school, or he might have been in middle school. But I was like a freshman, and I think he was like in the 5th grade or something like that, 6th grade. And we used to play ball in the neighborhoods and stuff. And so when I had came back, I think the first year I was teaching at Central, he was still there. I was like his senior year. Yeah. And so I was like, dang, bro, like I remember you, bro.
Yeah, facts.
So it's just weird it is kind of weird to be in that situation where I'm the old head now. At 28, I'm the old head.
Facts.
So
do you feel like you're old?
I'm gonna be real with you, I do.
Really?
Yeah, because I can't relate to a lot of the stuff that these kids is doing, bro. I'll be real with you.
I can understand, though. I think the job that I do connects me to kids a lot, so I am still growing with the younger generation. Because I feel like I'm like graduated high school like last year, bro. Like in my spirit, like my responsibilities are obviously adult responsibilities, but I feel like my spirit is still very young and youthful. Well,
I understand that for real. And actually, I think that's probably a really good feeling to have. Yeah. I feel like because of the job that I have, that I have to make that distinction because like with the kids, you have to make that clear distinction, and it's tough sometimes. Yeah. Because like they want to be buddy with you. Yeah. They want to be your homeboy, and they want to be your friend, and you want to be able to connect with them at some, in some regard. And especially because I'm like, man, I went here, I played for these same coaches, like, you know what I'm saying? But you have to, there's like that line that you have to draw where it's like, okay, I can't be your best friend because then you don't respect me enough that when I'm talking to you that you have that respect and you have that like, okay, I'm gonna do what he say, he know what he talking about and this and that. But then also you don't want to just be cold turkey on them and cut them off, like so you have to draw that line. And so, you know, when I'm at work and I'm in the building, like I have to make that distinction. So I think that part of me has made me like, okay, you know, I have to kind of be that older minded person. But then also too, like I be seeing stuff on social media that like people be saying and be doing and stuff, and I think a lot of it because I be having to do with relationships, and I be like, that's why you single, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Because you done said why you said this, that, and the third, and da. And I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, exactly. That's why you single. No. The same thing about be seeing some stuff about women be saying it be, oh yeah, this and that and da. And I'm like,
look, I'm gonna tell you something. People, every time I say this, people argue with me, but it is 100% true. That stuff, like black women hating black men hating black women, men hating women, black people hating white people, you know what I'm saying? All of that only exists on the internet. When you go in the real world, I'm not saying it does not exist zero, but the amount that people believe it to exist is just not true.
Yeah, I feel you what you're saying with that. I think that the hate that people feel like is there, I feel like it's more of a misunderstanding.
Yes.
Because like especially when we had when all the riots were going on in Atlanta, people were like really on that it's white versus black and that's it. And I'm looking at the coaching staff that I'm on, and I'm like, okay, we got these black coaches over here, we got these white coaches over here. It was pretty evenly split. And I'm like, we ain't feeling that way. It ain't the hate, but we did sit down and it was initiated by our white head coach. He was like, look, we need to sit down and have this conversation.
Yeah.
We need to have the race conversation and understand why. He said, because he had no idea what white privilege meant.
Yeah.
He had no idea that was a thing. He had, you know what I'm saying? And so he was talking about, man, I grew up in a trailer park, and I grew up tough, and I had to deal with all this kind of stuff. I don't have this and that and so we needed to have that conversation for everyone to understand, because I really do feel like when you don't understand something, you really start to move towards that hating of it. And I feel like for the most part it's misunderstanding. It's that I don't understand this group of people, so if something bad happens to them, it don't affect me because I don't understand them. I don't know them. They don't have nothing to do with me. Yeah. And people like you said, people think of, oh, that's hate and that's this and that's that. Nah, it ain't hate. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it happens. But
for sure.
But most of the time, I feel like you said, I feel like a lot of times it's a misunderstanding.
I think you're 100% right. And I like to do this thing when I talk to people. You like draw a circle on a board, right? A whiteboard, and you ask them, color in as much of this circle as you think you know of things in the world. And if anybody starts shading, look, you have to understand that's not true.
Right.
And I think there's so much information in the world. Like people who are like scholars and stuff, they say like a truly or a wise man knows he knows nothing at all.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause once you learn so much, you realize there's so much more that you don't know.
Yeah.
About stuff. So I think that's where the misunderstandings, because it's hard for people to filter through what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And then once you take that and have to take what other people that you've never seen go through, is crazy.
Oh yeah. And I think that's a big part of relationships, because I look at like me and my wife, for example, like we met in 2018. Mm-hmm. So we had been together since then. We got married in 2020. We think, oh, we've been together for 2 years. We know each other. I did not know that woman until we started living together. Then I was like, and I still don't. And I think it's going to, it takes years and years to really understand somebody, because I told her, I'm like, babe, I've been doing things a certain way for 26 years, 25 years. Yeah. Like, that's how it is. I've been, and it's so much stuff that I forget to tell you certain things because it's just second nature to me. And it's just so, and she, she's the same way. So I feel like, people think they know. You think you understand. You think you've been there. You think you've been through it. And it's like, bro, you have no idea. You have no idea, man, what people are going through, what like, and that was one thing for me, because I went to play at Sacramento City College. Okay. After I had graduated, and I had never been to the West Coast at that time. Mm-hmm. And it's a whole nother world. Yes. And I was like, I had no idea what's going on. What is this? The language, the areas, the I mean, just everything that's going on.
The way you have to maneuver.
The way you have to maneuver. The way you have to carry yourself. The way, like, just all these different things. And I feel like that opened me up to really understand, like, I don't know as much as I think I know. And I just imagine, in other countries on the other side of the world, stuff. I mean, what I'm saying? So I really agree with you, man. I think that's a big part of, problems that people have today is like, I know this and that. Yeah. You think you know.
Yeah, you think you know, but you really don't. Like, and I used to not care about people who ran around and said, like, you don't need college. You don't need college to be successful.
Right. You don't need to be
successful.
What
college does is it teaches you how to apply the things that you see into a real world application.
Absolutely.
So when people talk about core classes, why I got to go to college for 2 years and take classes that I'm not even going to use to be successful? What those classes do is they teach you Everybody has to take religion. What it teaches you is, maybe that person who wears a hijab or a person who prays at a temple or prays 5 times a day, their perspective of how they came to these beliefs doesn't make them an enemy of me. Right. Everybody has to take a psychology. Hey, maybe that person who be acting out, they don't really, that's not who they want to be. It's just they have triggers inside of them that if you can learn them, you can get them to a calm state where y'all can have a work as a team. It's those type of things that college is successful or at doing. Now I'm starting to, hey, don't tell people not to go to college. Right. At least if you go, do your core classes. If you don't think you need the rest, go do what you want to do. Take your core classes and classes that one of the most valuable, I'll ask you first. What do you think one of the most valuable classes you took in college was?
So we took a class. It was I'm trying to remember the exact name. It was lifespan. It was lifespan development. Lifespan development. So it was talking about cognitive, physical, emotional, all that kind of stuff from the moment you are conceived until the moment you die. And I gotta be real with you. The most that I learned from that class had nothing to do with the actual information in the class. The biggest things that I learned from the class, one, was that I had no idea about a lot of different things. And I thought I knew, that I had no idea. But two, that class right there, because it was like 250 something students in there, one teacher aide, well, no, 9 teacher aides with like an assistant teacher, but it taught me how to be resourceful. Yeah. And I think that is one of the biggest skills. And I know I got it from that class because we had to. She forced it on us. Everything we had to do was work as a team. And it taught me how to be resourceful. And I feel like it's a huge lesson to learn in real life, like you're saying, because you have those people at work who you do not like. Yeah. You have those people at work who you kind of cool with. You have those people at work who are almost family to you. Yeah. And you have to work with all of them. Yeah. And you have to make it success. You have to make it work. You have to, and so that's how it is at a real job. Like I had classmates who I did not like. I had some that was really cool. I have some that I'm still cool with today. But what I learned was, okay, how can we all work together to accomplish this goal in this amount of time so that we're all successful, which is work. That's what you do. You know, when you work for corporate America, that's what you have to do. Yep. You have to, and even in other areas of your life, you have to realize, like, okay, there might be this person I don't like. How do I need to operate? What do I need to do in order to make sure that I can reach the goal I have to reach in this amount of time, whatever the case may be? Yeah. And that's something that I feel like I learned that because I see a lot of people who don't have that ability to be like, I'm going to put my pride aside because the goal that I have set out or that we have set out is more important than how I feel about this person right now. That I can say, okay, you know what? For the next 3 months, we can be cool because we have to accomplish this goal by that time. Yeah. After that time, if I don't ever see you again, perfect. But we have to accomplish this goal. Facts. So, and with coaching, sometimes you have a coach that you're just like, I cannot stand this man. Yeah. But you got to say, you know what? We're trying to win. We're trying to win games throughout the season. We're trying to make it to the playoffs. As soon as the season is over, you go on to whatever school you go to. I don't have to see you for the next couple months or whatever. But we have to work together. Facts. For this amount of time. And that to me was the most important thing I learned in college, was not only finding other resources, having other people as resources, but being a resource yourself. Exactly. That one of the two classes that I think should be required before you can walk in the world and call yourself an adult is negotiations. That class teaches you how to have a conversation about two people meeting in the middle at a thing that both of y'all can be happy with, and the strategy to walk through it. Because people don't understand, we have human nature, and sometimes human nature fights against what the society we're trying to build, because we didn't come from societies. We built societies, and we come together and agree on what direction we would like to go. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it's ingrained in our brain. So sometimes you have to have a conversation
and two brains working together, y'all kind of have to not trick each other's brain, but you're working against what a natural brain is going to think, like things that will cause people to shut down, things that will cause people to give too much, give too little. You don't ask for enough when you could have asked for more. It gives you those conversations or gives you those abilities to have those conversations. That's the first class. And the second one, before you are allowed to have a Twitter account, you should have to take quantitative analysis. It basically tells you, when people say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, anybody who says that, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. Because numbers could lie all the time. Because I could ask a question like, how much... I use this example in another podcast, but I say how much rent would you have to pay to get a house that's 2,500 square feet? What would you say?
Oof, I don't know. 20.
Well, let's say 1,500 square feet.
300. Maybe talking about more. 13, maybe.
13. See, it's 13 in Atlanta, but the real answer to the question or the real conversation to be had is there's way more variables that have to do with coming to the answer, right? And when people are very surface when they deal with problems, that they don't understand all the layers that are under it that contribute to how this
because I'm thinking is it 3 bedroom, is it 2
yeah,
3
yeah,
bedroom,
that,
2 bath,
you're thinking
is it 3 bath, okay, how many? I'm thinking about all that stuff.
Exactly. So it's like, dang, there's a lot more to it, but most people say, oh, you got a 3-bedroom. A lot of people that come here, they're like, how much you pay for this? And I'll tell them, and they're like, that's crazy. But it's not crazy if you understand everything else that goes into like
the location. I mean, all that stuff. Neighborhoods, yeah, for sure.
Exactly. But those are the two classes I think everybody should take. That, what was the name of that class you said?
It was Human Lifespan Development.
I'm definitely gonna look up some stuff on there.
Yeah. We had the professor, she was dope, man. She was funny enough. She was like, she ain't care. She ain't hold her tongue for nothing.
Yeah.
She was like, all right, everybody wants to know what's the secret ingredient to being a better athlete? What's the secret ingredient to being faster, bigger, could jump higher? She said, yeah, the black person gene. And she was white, bro. She was a little white lesbian lady, bro. And she never hold her tongue. And then we all just dialed like, did she really say that?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. But she was like keeping it real.
You want to know why it's like that though?
What's up?
So the reason why people who are descendants of black people have genes that are stronger to do that is because in Africa, like I said, we come from being like animals, basically. Like this society we built, beautiful thing, but through evolution, Africa has the most natural resources. So that's
real too.
Yeah, it's real. So it's only natural that the apex predators would develop more in that region. So you had to be faster, stronger, bigger, jump higher. You know what I'm saying? You had to develop these things, and that stuff. There's this thing called cellular memory, right? And that's how things can be passed on to your children through the memory passed on through the cells. So like something like arachnophobia, there's people who have arachnophobia that's never seen a spider before, but that's cellular memory. So and there's a channel called Tirzu. They talk about it all the time. Like they call it the African server, has the hardest survival, has the highest survival threshold. So that's why people who are descendant of people who are black naturally have, it's not that people are better than somebody. It's just science at the end of the day. And if people understood that, you know what I'm saying? Like there would be a lot less animosity. I'm not going to say it would fix the problem. Right. But that's the reason why.
It would create more understanding.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, man, I totally agree with you, man. I mean, those kind of classes, man, that kind of information, like, it's so important.
Yep.
It's so important, and to grow as a person, the more you know, the more you learn, the more you observe and try to take in stuff. I mean, you can't help but to grow as an individual.
Exactly. That's why I think everybody should go to college, whether you need it or not. Find a way to go to college somewhere in your 20s. If you got a entrepreneurship you want to do from 18, start it, do it. But find a way to get 6 credit hours a semester. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to graduate in 4 years,
right?
But go there and get some type of thing that's going to professionals teach you real world application.
Oh, absolutely,
that's what you
man.
need.
And I feel like, because I mean, you know about my business a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that next.
With doing, obviously with teaching, but also I do, me and my wife have our brand, our clothing brand that we do. And a lot of the stuff I learned, not necessarily about clothes, but about business aspects. I learned from college about marketing strategies, about, looking at the audiences that you want to, your desired audience, looking at the demographic that you want, looking at, the region that you're in, looking at trends and, all those kind of things, about business, about, just all that. It's like you learn a lot of that, especially like talking about being an entrepreneur. Yeah. You learn a lot of that in college, and you have to be able to apply it. That's that, which I think is a big, one of the biggest things, is that, like, we get all this information from social media, from, what other types of media, but we don't apply it a lot of times. And I feel like that's where it really sticks, when you have to, okay, they're telling me this is the demographic that I want to be able to push my content towards. Okay, but apply it. How do you apply it? That's where a lot of people miss the mark. They don't know how to apply it. They're like, oh, well, I want to engage with, teenagers. That's the demographic I really want to push my content towards. Well, how do you apply it? And then so you learn that in college, which is huge, man. So like you said, man, I really agree with that. Whether it's a university or it's a college or it's a junior college or it's a community college, a technical school, something, man.
Do something that has a professional sitting in front of you that you can ask questions to, or they can assign things that make you apply it. Whether it's an essay or something you have to write to prove. You could watch whatever YouTube video. If you misinterpret it, it didn't work for you.
Right.
So you could have gained the same knowledge, but the fact that you didn't have to write an essay and the points that you were incorrect about aren't highlighted, you will move forward in the not optimal way with that. Man. Yeah, exactly.
They hold you accountable. It's like you said, a YouTube video might not tell you what you're doing wrong.
Exactly.
But that professor gonna say, hey, you missed the application part, or you missed this part, you missed the strategy we was working on, you missed the putting in the work part. That's you learn that.
Yep. So how did you end up wanting to start like a clothing business?
So I had been doing like art for a long time, of painting and drawing and all that kind of stuff. I had been doing it. I don't know if you know, but when we were, I think we're freshmen or we were sophomore, one of those two, there was an art contest nationwide. It was called Beauty Is.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And you had to do a piece of art. It didn't have to draw. It could be media. It could be digital media. It could be drawing. It could be painting. It could be whatever. And so I submitted this drawing I did, and I did it, and I was like, hey, I tried my best, whatever. And everybody was getting all their stuff back like a month later, and I wasn't getting my stuff back, and I was like, what's going on? Yeah. And it was like 3 months later, they were like, Justin, you won.
That's crazy.
But I won like at the school level, at the county level, at the state level. I won all the way to the state level, to where it went to nationals, but I didn't win at nationals. But I had won at the state level for that competition. And so I was like, man, I think I want to, keep doing this more. So I've been doing art for a long time. And so I was doing art shows and stuff. And so people were like always asking me like, hey man, why don't you put your art on shirts? Yeah. And I was like, I could, I guess, maybe, yeah. And so I got with this company that they were like designing a video game, but they wanted some like flyers and they wanted some posters and they wanted, you know, art content and stuff and graphic design stuff for the company. And I was like, so they got with me and I was working with them for a little bit. And they were asking me like, well, you know, we would like for you to do more of your art for us and stuff. So I was all right, cool. So I was working with them and they had put some of my stuff on t-shirts and everything. And so I was like, man, I really have some good ideas. And they were like, we don't know about your ideas. Just do what we want you to do. And I was like, whatever, man. So I was doing it for a little minute. And then they were like, we are going in separate directions, so you're done. So they kind of kicked me to the curb. And I was like, dang, man, I was really working on this stuff. So I was like, forget it. So I made a shirt for myself of what the idea that I had. And people was like, oh, I like that shirt, man. What's up with that? And so I put it, randomly, it was last year in March, I randomly put it on Facebook. And I asked all my friends, I was like, if I made some shirts, would y'all buy them? And it was like, yeah, you know, yeah. So I was like, all right, yeah. So I made a couple of shirts and some people bought them. So I was like, okay, this is cool. So I was like, let me keep going with this a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and expanding. Like I said, my brother, he does photography and videography. So I was like, you know, I want some content of people wearing my stuff. So we did like a photo shoot and a video shoot thing, and so it started really kicking up, and then like people was jumping on it, and I was making different things, and like it was doing pretty well on social media and stuff, and getting sales, and then I wanted to kind of kick it up a notch. And my wife really was like, look, I can really help you, you know, kick it. You know,
it's so fire, you know, to have a teammate and like, God
damn. I'm telling you, dude. She was like, look, I can really, you know, step the game up. And so I was like, yeah, you know, really jump on with me. And she did. And things like have been growing even more since then. And I think that, cause she knows a lot of people, and you know, her being able to connect with other people, can network and stuff, and so like she's put us on at different events, to be able to pass out shirts and to be able to get people to follow us on social media and check out our website and push it out. So she's been getting us to events. She's been getting people to sponsor us, getting us to be. Like she'll have somebody who'll be like, hey, I'll wear y'all shirt at this event that I go to. I'll put y'all on with this and that. So like she's been doing more of like that stuff, and it's helped out a lot, man.
I'm wearing your shirt to All-Star Weekend, so
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. So like for this one, for the black owned, so I had this idea because, you know, people always talking about designer brands, like designer brands, and I'm like, man, really, I'm a designer brand.
Yeah,
Shoot.
Exactly.
I was like, honest, and so I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm a black owned designer brand. If you really want to get down to the meat of the definition. So I was like, I want to own that. You know what I'm saying? So me and my wife, we made this shirt, the black owned designer brand shirt, because I feel like you have a lot of, obviously clothing brands are saturated, you know, area of entrepreneurship, but you got a lot of people who are like, man, I only want to wear designer brands. And it's like, really, if you are designing your own clothes, you are a designer brand. Exactly. So I'm like, I wanted to own that aspect of it. I'm a black owned designer brand. And it's funny because people are always like, how do you pronounce it? It's 15.
Okay.
The X and so it's FIFXVN, and the XV is the Roman numeral 15.
For 15, yeah.
So, and I came up with it because, so long story short, I had a best friend who wore number 15, but he ended up going to prison for a crime he didn't commit. Wow. He wore number 15 when he was in school, when he went to college, everything. And so I started wearing it for him when he got incarcerated, and they gave him 10 years too, and he got incarcerated. So I started wearing number 15 as my football jersey. And so then when I was just trying to figure out a brand, I was like, the name for it, I was like, man, it's only right to call it 15, but I didn't want it to just be 15. I wanted it to be something where you're like, huh,
What is that?
Like, what is that? Like, I can't, because I feel like if it was just said 15, you'd be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like something to talk about.
Yeah, and so it's like, what is that? And how do you pronounce it? Because people are always coming to me, how do you pronounce it? And I want to, I always, because something I learned too in college was that when people have to take that second look, they start to think about it more.
It sticks in their brain.
Yeah, because if you just read it and it said, oh, 15, I know it's 50, okay, keep it moving. But you like, wait a second. What is that? How do you pronounce that? What is that? It's 15, but it's got the XV in it, and it's the Roman numeral 15, and so I put, that's how we decided to put it on for the name of it. And I mean, I got to be honest with you, it's been going good. We got hats. We got like this hat.
Okay.
We got like sweatpants and jumpsuits and stuff, shorts.
Who's your manufacturer?
So the manufacturer that I have right now is called Printful. And I'm gonna be honest with you,
You need somebody new?
I need somebody.
I got you.
Bro.
I got you.
Bruh.
I got somebody who owns a factory up in New York. His name is Nick from Way Before the Fame. That's literally his job. He owns a warehouse. He prints up stuff for people.
Cause I'm gonna be honest with you, like in the beginning, it was straight.
Yeah.
Bruh. And because what they do is they charge us so much for like everything that we sell. It's like, man,
how much they charge you?
So like for example, for this shirt is like about $9 for this shirt. So like just for them to have it, put the logos on it, put whatever on it, so it's about $8. So if I sell it for 15, I'm only making maybe $4, $5, $6 off of it, depending on shipping and handling and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, it's little baby step stuff, but or like this hat, it's like almost $20 just for the hat itself. I'm like, so I gotta sell it for 40, like, so I feel like if I can find a manufacturer that, because we found some for like some hats that they'll do like it'll be like $1.25 for the hat itself, but then like maybe $3-4 to put the embroidered logo on it. Yeah. So I'm spending $5 maybe for a hat. If I sell the hat for $20, which to me is reasonable, or whatever, then I actually make some money off it. Yeah. Instead of making $4, $5, $6 per.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something about business though, right? Business is about volume in the beginning, right? So even if you don't make money, you don't want to plan to profit for your first couple years, at least like for the first 3 years, right? So you want people to be able, if you can get it for $8, as long as you're not going into a deficit on your shirts, right? You know what I'm saying? If you can get it for $8, you sell it for 15, you make 4. You know what I'm saying? At least the most important part is you made enough money to buy another shirt, right? Yeah. That's what you want to be able to do, because word of mouth is more powerful than finding a manufacturer to cut the cost. Right. So if people can get the product in their hand, I mean, obviously you have that one now, you'll move forward with another one, but it's not always about the profit in the beginning. Right. If you could build something and it's something that people feel like they need, because any successful business, you have to create a need and then you fulfill the need, right? Nestle, they told people, don't y'all want water bottles? And now everybody feels like they need bottled water, right? You created a need. So you want, that 15 merch, I need that. Right. And once people need it, then you can do what you want, right? But you got to create the necessity of wanting it. And a lot of that comes from one, word of mouth, and scarcity. If you're not in big box stores, so where'd you get that from? Right. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the people. That's why artists don't be blowing up when they need to, because everybody's like, this is my artist. I ain't telling. Don't ask me what I put on the ox. You know what I'm saying? You want that. Because that's gonna lead people to I'm gonna find this. Right. And then
what song is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then they pop up with it. Look, I got a 15 shirt too. Type. You know what I'm saying? So and I haven't been too, me and my wife, we've really been trying to get our name out there, a lot, and that's why we're doing the events and stuff like that, and putting on, and I agree with you, as long as we're not in a deficit, it's straight. Yeah. But I think years coming down, because there's like this
there's this place in Atlanta called like Superline Wholesale or something like that.
Yeah.
They said they didn't get on until like 5-6 years in.
Yeah.
That's when they really was like, all right, we in this thing. So, I think, building our brand now, building a following, building that, like you said, that need for people to be like, man, I want that. We're building on that now, but I do see down the line
where it could be. I'll definitely tap you in with a lot of, because I go to like a lot of events that have like vendor tables and stuff like that. I'm around a lot of creators.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? That I'm not saying they don't they make enough money to where if you got bro, I'll throw it in my collection. I don't even want to wear other brands that aren't from somebody I know on camera no more.
Right.
I'll go to H&M, get like a blank hoodie, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like everything I wear, I try to wear like a.
Well, I feel you. I mean, and especially in the position that you're in, you know what I'm saying? You could be like, doing that. I feel like for me, I'm going to be real with you. I don't want to wear nothing else but my stuff.
Exactly.
I want to be my own billboard. Like I want to be out there, and wherever I go, they like, oh, what shirt is that? Mine.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd you get that? 15.
Yeah.
Well, what? Huh? 15? What? And like, I mean, cause like what me and my wife got, we'll go to like events and we'll have these little wristbands that all you got to do is tap your phone to the wristband and it pops up with our website.
That's fine.
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I want it to be like that where people can ask me, oh, where'd you get that shirt? And they, boop.
You know what you need to do though? You know what an Oculus is?
No.
You need to buy one today. All right.
An Oculus?
Yes.
Okay.
Oculus, buy one today and put your merch in the metaverse. Because that's where the money is about to be. Okay. Let me tell you something.
I've been hearing about it.
Bro, listen. I caught one. I knew where it was going. That's why the NFT thing, like, I kind of know the direction it's going in. And once I bought the Oculus, because I bought it to stream games from my YouTube.
Yeah.
And then when you set it up, it just snapped in my head like what the future is about to be. And boy, listen, if you can put your merch in there before everybody else, come on now. It's over with.
You put me on. I'm gonna have to jump on that.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Because I've been seeing a lot about it, man. A lot about the VR stuff.
I'll show you after this.
Okay, yeah. I've been seeing a lot about it. And it's funny. Years ago, I had seen somebody had the VR stuff, and I was like, "Oh man, that's dope, man. That's dope." So okay, I'm gonna have to
like
jump on that.
if you could start giving out. I don't know if I'll tell you. I'll tell you after because. Do I want people to know this stuff? All right, look, listen. I'm talking about them. I want you to prosper.
Yeah.
But so what you should do, there's this thing, I forgot what it's called, but it's a 360 camera. It's a camera, it's like a pole, and it captures everything. If you do 360 YouTube video fashion shows with your stuff, and the fashion show, when you put the Oculus on, a YouTube 360 video, you could turn around and look. You could look up. So, like, if you set that camera up and you have listen, too much game, all right? Too much game.
Free game,
bro.
Okay.
Look, if you do fashion shows like that, one, you'll be first to the market with it.
Okay.
And then your products will be, because you got to think about who is consuming this.
Yeah.
The Oculus isn't something that everybody can just afford right now.
Right.
It's really in very rich demographics.
Yeah.
So somebody may see that and say, I want to invest in this company because look, they're blowing up. They're having 360 fashion shows that people are still trying to hit the runway. The real world is over.
Yeah.
All right. The virtual world is where you need to move next. You do that, bro. I'll tell you.
Okay. And that's with the Oculus. You can do that with the Oculus.
Well, the Oculus is how they view it.
Okay.
But there's a camera. It doesn't even cost a lot. I think it's like $80. And when you see people that are like, you know what I'm saying, on a jet ski and like you could see around them and stuff like that. You can see everything. That's the camera you use. So a lot of people, when you're in business, you have to look at things and apply them to how they can, things people use for leisure. Yeah. You have to use for business. Yeah. And those two things together, I'm telling you. I already told people to start making 360 YouTube videos of like you know how they have those instrumentals on YouTube, but it has like the shroom version. So it like shows lights and stuff. Yeah. You make 360 videos in a room with lights and everything and you play your instrumentals. It's an experience that people haven't had. Right. So now you're creating experience. you're creating an experience that nobody has experienced before. It's a new, fresh market. There's nobody there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you put me on, bro.
Yeah,
okay, I see you. I see you.
I did this podcast because I want everybody who comes here to blow up.
Yeah,
become,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel that, but I'm not gonna lie, that's something different that I've been looking for. That I feel like, because you gotta have something different, like you said. So I feel like that's something different that I feel like I ain't really been seeing from people.
Yeah.
Cause I gotta tell you, man, I hate that I've been seeing a lot, especially from like clothing brands and stuff. People are trying to do the same stuff.
Yeah.
And just do it in different ways. And I'm like, man, what's the difference then between 1, 2, and 3? If all y'all got pretty much the same idea on the same shirt, you're not really doing anything different. So that's, to me, that's something different that I could say, okay, we could put that, we could start implementing that in there.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely, you know what I'm saying? My line is definitely open for anybody who comes through here. Like if y'all ever want to tap in. I think what my talent is, how you said you only want to be a walking billboard for you. I understand that my purpose in life or my talent is being able to take very good ideas and make them extraordinary. That's my job. Or that's what I feel like I'm the greatest at. So like you have the clothing, I feel like my mind just works in connecting the thing that makes it elite from just like a good product.
Oh, I feel that, bro.
Yeah,
I feel that. That's what's up.
But look, now we're to the part of the podcast. This is where you see all the clips. You know what I'm saying? The people telling crazy stories. Okay. We made it to that point. So, have you ever been cheated on? Have you ever caught somebody cheating on you?
Yes.
Story time. What's good?
Oh man! All right,
you can omit names for sure. But
okay, okay. I'm gonna be real. I got some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna tell you the two craziest ones. The two crazy, because I've been in a lot of crazy stuff. The two craziest ones, right? So there was this girl that I was with who she lived in California, right? So after I had left Sacramento trying to go play ball and everything like that, I was still talking to that girl and whatnot. Yeah. So I was over here, she was over there, and we was like, okay, we trying to do this thing, what? So we was long distance relationship kind of thing. Yeah. I was an idiot, bro. I flew her out. Okay, flew her out, bro. Okay. I flew her out here. I'm thinking it's all good. I'm like, bro, this is gonna be straight, but it's cool. Yeah. Flew her out. All right. So she flies out and she telling me, hey, I'm finna stay with my homegirl for a little minute before I come to your side of town. And my homegirl stay in Atlanta. So I'm like, okay,
that's what's up.
Yeah, you gonna hang out with her for a little minute. Okay, that's cool. A day or two, that's straight. And that was the plan. She was gonna hang out with her for a day or two. Then she was gonna come with me and we was gonna go on vacation. That was the plan. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Where was the vacation to?
Like Hilton Head, I think.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I mean, straight. But so I'm like, all right, this is cool, whatever. We finna do our thing. So the day comes that I'm supposed to pick her up so we can go on vacation. Mm-hmm. And I hit her up and I'm like, yo, I'm on my way to you. Now, mind you, she's like, all right, so she give me the address. Yeah. She's not from our side of town.
Yeah, so she don't know how far you are?
She don't know how far I am.
Yeah.
I was real close. like I was actually, she thought I might have been like an hour away. I was like 15 minutes away. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm finna come through and it's all good. Yeah. And she told me she, come on through and everything. So I pull up and it's in the hood. Okay. Like the hood. So I pull up. I go up, I find the address. I'm like, okay, it's here. I go up to the apartment. And it's loud in there. And it's like a bunch of dudes in there. Like I could hear it. It's a bunch of dudes in there. So I'm like,
yo, she was on the episode of Black. That's great. No, go ahead.
So I'm like, okay, they up in there. So I knock on the door. And they ain't coming to open the door. They just all still up in there. Like it sounds like they playing Madden or something. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. And so I'm like waiting for a second, I'm like, this is the address she said. Like what? So I knock on the door, and they're like, hey, who at the door, bro? What's up? So somebody comes to the door just to peep through. They're like, I don't know this man. I don't know who that is, bro. Forget it, bro. And they just go back. So I'm sitting here like, okay, she told me to come get her. There's a bunch of dudes up here. Okay, now I'm concerned. What's really going on? So I knock again and like hard this time. Yeah. So finally, she comes to the door, right?
Yeah.
She got on some tiny, tiny little shorts and a tank top, no bra, right? And I'm sitting here looking at her like, you got me all the way messed up. I'm like, what is you doing? I'm like, are you serious right now? And she's like, look, let me get my stuff. Hold on a minute. Like, she's like really acting weird. And I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to put two and two together, but like, I don't want to believe it. Right? So she's like, look, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. So she goes back in, and it's like 15 minutes later. Not like, oh, I just grabbed myself real quick. Like 15 minutes later, she comes out with her stuff. She in there with five dudes, bro. They all come out with her. So I'm sitting there like, what? We in this narrow little hallway. It's about the size of this rug right here. We're in this narrow little hallway. She walks past me to the door, or to the top of the steps. So it's the door that I knocked on, 4 dudes here, 1 dude that walked with her holding her luggage to the top of the steps. So it's him standing behind me and the 4 dudes in front of me.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like, okay, this is a very bad situation.
Yeah.
So the dude's like, hey, bro, who is you? And I'm like, I'm Justin. What you mean? He was like, oh, and he said his name. And so the name that she had told me that she was staying with was his name, but he had
a girl name.
Yeah, he had one of those unisex names, and I was like, "So you the dude?" I thought you was a girl, and I said that I thought you was a girl. He's like, "What you mean, bruh?" And I was like, "Nah, it's cool, bro. You know, it's straight." I at this point, I'm understanding the situation, so I'm trying to figure out how I can handle myself. And I'm like, "It's cool, bro." So I put my hand out to like dap him up, and he like, "Nah, bro, I don't want none of that." The dude that was with her that was behind me steps up behind me, and so I'm like, and like they are like right here, and one of the dudes right there, and I'm like, this is that moment. This is that moment right here. So I said, it's straight, bro. I said, hold on 1 second. I grabbed my phone. I said, hello, and turn around, pow, knock that dude as hard as I can, stood behind me, and sped off, bro. I took off, bro. I'm talking about, and all 5 of them was behind me. Bro, I ran so far, bro. I'm like, no cap. I didn't even go to my car. I was like, forget it. I knew they hadn't seen my car yet. So I was like, I'm not even going to my car. I took off, bro. And I just ran down. I ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. And they didn't catch up to me. So I was like, it's straight. It's cool. Because what happened was most of them was in their work clothes. Yeah. And they was like, I think one of them had like a chef outfit on, like one of them aprons on and stuff like that. He had like they wasn't ready to run. Like they probably was ready to fight a little bit, but they wasn't ready to take off like I was ready to take off. I took off. I straight turned around and pow, smacked that man, sped off down the stairs, and I was gone, bruh. I ain't come back to get my car for like an hour. For real? Right? Oh no cap. I was gone. I
would have came back at night, bro.
I was out of there. I ain't come back. So I waited because the girl, she kept blowing my phone up. We was talking and everything, and like I told you, I was an idiot, bro, because we had
y'all were talking.
Afterwards, yes, she called me. We was talking, and like I said, I was an idiot because I continued to like talk to her on the phone and be like, "Yo, what's going on?" So we had talked enough to where she was like, "Look, you can come back," because it was the same day. She said, "You can come back and get your car." Yeah. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna come back to get my car."
But crazy. Bitch, you put me in this. I'm not coming when you tell me.
Exactly. Right. So I come back to get my car. We talked for forever. We talked for like a couple hours and everything. And
in the crib?
No, in the car. Okay. In the car that I was at. Like I come back, get my car. We drove off, and she's with me. We talking we talking about everything because and I found out later she was obviously sleeping with them dudes. Yeah. But one of them was putting hands on her too, and the other one wasn't trying to say nothing. So like she got herself into that situation because she was really trying to sleep with the one dude. But she ended up having to sleep with the multiple dudes because one of the dudes was putting hands on her, and he was like, "If you don't do this, I'm going." So she put me through that whole story, and so I, the sob story, and I should have thought like, but you still was there trying to sleep with Buddy.
I flew you out, and you was going
out, and you was still going to sleep with Buddy. So she was doing all that. So
y'all went to Hilton Head.
we still went to
You're
Hilton Head, bro.
tripping.
That's why I'm telling you. I was an idiot, bro. I'm telling you.
No,
We still went.
Listen,
because
my
she
young
ran the whole-
brothers, I
yeah.
want y'all to be released from the
Yeah.
shackles of coochie. All right, please.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So and that's why it's wild, but it gets worse. So and it gets worse, right? So, like I said, she ran me through the whole sob story, the whole if you leave me here, I'm not gonna be able to get back home. I mean, ran me through the whole story. So I said, all right, bet. We already planned this trip. I already paid for it. We just gonna go and make the best of it. So we go. The whole trip, I noticed that she be on her phone crazy. So I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh no, I'm just talking to my mom, letting her know what's going on, blah, 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 blah. So we leave the trip, leave the vacation. And mind you, we was on the vacation. It wasn't just us there. It was like my homeboys and stuff. And like it was multiple people that was gonna be, it wasn't just gonna be us.
Did you tell them like why you were there?
No. I didn't tell anybody for a long time, bro. I was so embarrassed. Anyways, so we leave, right? So we leave, we come back to Atlanta, everything's cool, and she's like, yeah, just, drop me off. Her flight was that day. Cool. I dropped her off at the airport.
Yeah.
She never got on the flight, right? A whole nother dude came and picked her up.
How did you know? Like, you seen him?
No, because, so this is what happened, right? I go back to my house. I'm just chilling. Everything's regular. So, I try to text her, no text back, no nothing.
Yeah.
I try to call her, no nothing, and I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right, maybe she having trouble with the flight, whatever. Couple, it was like 2 days where I was like really trying to reach out to her, nothing. So then she finally hits me up, and she's like, hey, I'm still in Atlanta, and I'm like, well, what's going on? Why you ain't tell me what's going on? And she's like, I can't really talk about it. I'm just going through a lot and all this kind of stuff, blah 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 blah. So I'm tripping because I'm like, if you still in Atlanta, why you ain't with me? Like, why we ain't?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be talking and we're supposed to be doing this whole thing. Like, we had this whole trip and all this kind of stuff, everything. So
she was in Cali getting smacked on. Crazy.
Bruh. And that's what's wild to me too. I was like, this whole long distance relationship. But so while she's in Atlanta still, she's like, it's like one day she won't text me for the whole day, then the next day she might text me something at like 3 a.m, and it was like that for like a week. So at this point, I'm like, look, screw this. If you ain't with it, then you ain't with it. Just let me know. Like, we can just part ways. We already done had this whole episode with the whole me almost getting murked by 5 dudes. Like, we already been through that. It is what it is. But she keep with that whole, oh no, I still this and da da da. So then one Sunday on the Lord's Day, one day she right, I'm texting her that night before, and I get a text from her phone.
Yeah.
2 pictures from the dude of them in the bed.
Yo.
Yeah, going there.
Yo, what?
Yeah, he saw our text messages and sent me from her phone pictures of them doing it.
She don't deserve happiness, bro.
So that happened.
She deserves to be mentally in hell for the rest of her life.
And you know what's wild? She do podcasts, and she all her podcasts. She had the nerve to say she ain't never cheated before, and I said, got it. But anyway, so that happened. So I'm sitting there, I'm straight tripping because after Buddy has sent the pictures, I'm like, yo, what in the world? What's going on? And Buddy he texts me back like, oh yeah, bro, I'm doing this and I'm da all this and all that. So I'm tripping like the whole day. I'm just like losing it. So then later on, she texts me, I need you to come get me because this man's putting hands on me. So it's another dude who she went to sleep with.
Hold up,
putting hands on her
was
too.
Uber invented by this time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, but it wasn't
like popping.
It
like
wasn't
that.
like popping like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I knew anything much about it. So she was like, I need you to come get me because he's putting hands on me. So I'm sitting here like, okay, send me the address. Send me the address. It was right by the old dome, by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was on that side of town, so you know it's the hood. It was the hood over there. So I'm like, send me the address, okay. So she sent me the address, right? This how you know I was in a bad spot. I was in a bad place mentally. I go down there. I didn't even go down there to pick her up. I went down there to beat the dog. I went down there to beat that man. So I get there, right? I pull up a little bit away from it. And I'm like, I'm outside. Come on out. Right? And Buddy was there with her. Come on out. So she come out. Buddy come out with her, all acting tough. Because he didn't even know what I looked like or nothing. He didn't know nothing about me. I came out and he didn't recognize me. So I just came out real smooth, like I wasn't. Come on, I said, "You the dude from the phone?" He said, "What?" Tore that man up. That's how you know I was in a bad place, bro. Went down there. There was a lady, the neighbor, like 2 houses down, was calling the cops and everything. She was, "Oh my God, you got bro." I went nuts on that man. For real. I remember I just seen red and I was like, I'm going, and old girl like, "We gotta go, get out of here. They gonna call the police. You gonna go to jail. You gonna this. And I was like, I don't care.
Bro, look, listen, I'm glad I had girlfriends, right? I was in like 2 5-year relationships. I'm glad I never experienced like this type of stuff. And I'm not gonna be honest. This story could have happened to me, but I didn't care enough to like look into it.
Oh.
Maybe it happened, but like, cause when you tell that story, I'm reminiscing on like a long-term relationship or a long-distance relationship that I had, and some of the stories I was being told. Mm-hmm. But now thinking back on it, that probably could have been, but I didn't care, bro. Like,
oh no, I was invested, bro. Because like I said, when I went to Sac City to play ball, that's when me and her had really got serious. But I had known her, and it's crazy because I had known her since I was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. So like we had been friends. We was cool. Like I knew her for real. And then I went to Sac in 2014. So I had known her since like 2008. Yeah. Went to Sac in 2014, and then again in 15, mm-hmm. and then she had camp. So I think it was like 16 or 17. No, it was like 16 that happened. Yeah. It's like 2016, I think. No, it might have been 15. It might have been after I think it was after I got back. Yeah. But it was like 2015. So then that's when all that happened. So I was like, man, to me, she wasn't just like somebody that I was just like, it's whatever. Like she was my people. Like, it was like that. It was deep. So for me, it was like I said, I was in a bad place mentally. I was like, it shouldn't have gotten that far. I shouldn't have let it get that far. Yeah. But like we had history, bro. Yeah. Like she was, you know what I'm saying? So
this girl, me and her had history too. So it wasn't, when I say I didn't care to like go digging, right? Because like I'm like very focused on like my future, mm-hmm. that like I'm like oblivious to like if I would have didn't have anything to focus on and I could focus on like, so why did this happen? Yeah. Right. And there came to a point in our relationship where like we had a conversation. I was like, but we had already, that segment had moved past. So it really, if I'm willing to accept you at this point, then there's no point in me going down the detail as to what happened as long as you can move forward correctly. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure like after you telling that story, I'm thinking of like some of the situations. I'm just like, oh, maybe she was.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be real with you. That situation changed me for sure, because it made, like how you said, like not that you don't care, but like who I am now, like I would never go to take it that far. I would like snooping through somebody's phone, or like, you know, if something was to pop up like that I'm like, I'm gonna be like, that's what you want to do. You could do that over there. Exactly. I'm good. Like, so it changed me for sure, and it's crazy because having survived that situation, I really feel like I needed to be able to go through it and get out of that, so that now as an adult, you know, as a real adult, not 21, 22, but like now being about 30, that I'm like, you know what, I don't even have the time or mental capacity or to deal with that kind of stuff. Like if that happens, y'all deal with that over there. I'm good. So I'm glad that I actually survived that situation, so I don't ever have to be in that.
If I would have knocked on the door and I heard mad niggas, I would have went straight back to the whip, call her, be like, hey, yo, where you at? Well, I came there, there's mad niggas in there. What's right? What's that about? You know,
Right.
oh no, I'll be out in a second. You said you're staying with your homegirl, though,
Right.
right? So is this where you're staying? You know what? I'm about to go on my trip. You know what I'm saying? You have a good time.
You have a
know
good
what I'm
time,
saying?
right.
Do your thing.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And because like, it's not one of the reasons I don't go through stuff, because I expect to be able to trust you the same way you could trust me. That's one. And two, like, I know if you let this come to the surface, I'm cutting ties.
Right.
There is no negotiation about it. There are certain things that once I find out you're capable of doing this to me,
Right.
I can't have you around.
Right. And I feel that completely now. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, that's why I'm glad I actually went through those times, because there were red flags leading up to that point that I was like, oh, well, it ain't gonna be that bad, or it's not that bad, or, you know, I could overlook this, but I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I feel like now the person that I am, I can see that, and like I said, that situation changed me so that over the years, when those red flags did come up, that I can be like, I know what that is.
Yeah. I'm good,
bro. I'm out of that.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, being young and naive and thinking, you know, the whole world is great and everything's perfect and everybody has good intentions.
Yeah.
Like now I can see like, oh, okay, that's a red flag. I see what that person's about. I see what they trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm
let me
good.
move over here. That is a crazy. You have another story like that though?
So that happened, and I'm trying to think like, okay, so the next, like, after that, I was with this girl, and like everything was like, this was crazy, because like everything was great, everything was perfect and everything like that. But like when I tell you she is like the spawn of Satan, like, bro, she flipped. Like I'm talking about, like when you talk about, oh, it was red flags, like it was
Littered with red flags.
No, it wasn't. It was opposite. It was like all green, like everything was go. And then she just like flipped on me, and to where like, so how I caught it was that she had posted on Snapchat a video of her driving somewhere, and in the video she reaches over and she's rubbing somebody's thigh in the video. And her brother sent me the video and was like, "Is this your thigh?" I was like, bruh, I'm at the crib. What you mean?" He was like, "No, bruh." And like he was the investigator, but like that man, he was calling me, he was calling her, he was like everywhere.
Yeah.
And like it was, but the reason why it was so crazy was because we were so like invested in each other. Like, her parents was calling. They was calling her. They was calling me. Her cousins were calling. Like everybody was like, "What's going on? Like, what are you doing? What?" Like they were driving, because she was like somewhere in a different part of Georgia, and they were like driving out to meet her. She pulls back up. They jump in her car, looking through everything, trying to see. Oh, what is that? Is that somebody else's? Is this like it was wild? I'm talking about everybody was investigating that mug off of a video of like, it was like a dark video, but you could see her like going.
Why
like
would she
this
do
on
that though?
So and it was crazy, because like I said, our relationship had been great and everything, but I think it's, and I'm just gonna be real with you, I think it's one of those things that, because I've seen people struggle with it before, where things are going like so perfect that you sitting here like, okay, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being treated well. I'm used to being abused. I'm used to being lied to and disrespected. I know what that's like. I don't know what this is. This is new to me. This is weird. I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna sabotage it. And that, because like I said, it was stuff that like I had talked about, and we had as with her family, my family, I was talking about, and everybody was like, "Nah, bro, y'all was perfect." Like what the, and it was a situation because she had got back with her ex, and she was doing all that with her ex and everything. And
so the dude in the video was her
the
ex?
dude was her ex, but like and from what I believe and from like a conversation, it was one of those situations where it's like, everything is so good. What is this? I don't know what this is. This is weird. I'm not used to this. This man ain't cheating on me. He ain't hurting me. He ain't, dogging me out. He ain't disrespecting me. What's the problem?
Yeah.
And because like I said, I was cool with her family. Like I mean, it was just one of those situations, and I feel like sometimes people go through that when they're not ready for that serious, and they don't know how to handle that kind of serious relationship, so they sabotage it. And because and after that, she was like, well, we used to fight all the time. I'm like, we ain't never fought? What you mean? We never fought. Oh, well, I didn't like.
I hate the way
I
girls
didn't like that you was
script.
playing football. I'm like, you was my biggest fan. What you talking about?
Listen.
Like,
listen. Let me tell you something. All right. Somebody had the nerve. Now, if you followed any of my, or anybody who's like seen my relationships on the internet, I do a lot of above and beyond things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say we don't argue, but we don't have real like make or break arguments. Like they be about very minor things that we could tweak from both sides, right?
Yeah.
Minor things you can tweak to keep it moving, right? In defense of trying to shift blame, now mind you, we went to different countries. We went to
doing it big.
Yeah, bro. We went to different countries. We went to like different states. We did the biggest things for her birthday ever. Had to shift the blame. Said in this conversation, said, I feel like everything you did for me was fake. You didn't really want to do it. What? I said, nigga, what? What? Are you stupid? Like, well, I ain't say that. You know what I'm saying? You still my nigga. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. I have never seen shift. And I'm glad that I'm emotionally mature because I'm willing to salvage a lot of things, right? But when I heard that, I said, oh, there's nothing I could do. I'm done. Look, I'll take all the blame. We could go our separate. I'm good, bro. I'm good because like it's nothing I could do. If you honestly believe that, there's nothing I could do. And I told her that. I said, if you really believe that, you just in the wrong place.
You just looking for excuses at that point.
Yeah, we in the wrong place then, bro.
But yeah, I feel that, man. That's like I said. I feel like, and I hate to say it, but I feel like a lot of women do it. When you at that point where you like, man, this is going really good. I'm not used to this. How can I sabotage this?
Yeah.
Because it's like you doing all this above and beyond stuff, but then you want to go back. Oh no, you did everything. You ain't want to do it for. Where's you getting this from?
I said, yo,
what?
And like I think the dynamic. What happened was, I wasn't financially well off, but I had finances and a good grip on how to maneuver with the finances I had.
Yeah.
And over the course of time through our relationship, I gained finances that I never had or never even thought like, this is pretty straight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we were doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But she was in a position where she couldn't reciprocate on those fronts. But like you could where the argument stemmed from is it's not about money. There's other things you can contribute that I feel like would be reciprocatory or whatever the word may be. There are things you can reciprocate that don't take money.
Right.
But I just need you to at least do those. But then it was getting to the point where, all right, you got a job now. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, your birthday was crazy. My birthday was crazy, but I paid for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could have at least done this, and this. Well, and then that's where it just now I have to throw everything you did out the window to justify why I didn't do this or I didn't feel the necessity to do this in this situation. I said, yo, I actually like the whole time I'm trying to tiptoe around my words to make sure I don't say anything for the defenses to go up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I wanted the relationship.
Yeah.
And when she said, I kind of like laughed on the inside. I said, boy, ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way, boy. No, yeah. Boy, ain't no way. Yep.
I said, look, there's not, look, we're done here.
You already know what that is. So,
yeah.
Man, I feel that, man. It's just, like you said, at that, once you reach that point where this is the conversation we're having.
Yeah. It's not. There's nothing. There is nothing I could do to say. If you think everything I did was, there's nothing left for me here to do.
Right.
And I think that's a maturity. I don't think I gained that through like trial and error, but that's just like a maturity I gained. Maybe trial and error with friendships. Like, I think most people would have got angry. And I think that's what she was searching for, the button to push to make me the bad guy in the situation.
Right. Yeah.
Cause she told me when we first dated, there's two things that I should have looked at as red flags. One, she said, I kind of am so upset that you're so perfect. Like, people just gravitate to. I should have took that as a red flag. I took it as a compliment.
Right.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I took it. And there was one other thing. I can't remember. There was another thing that she said that I should have known. Like, this is a red flag, but I didn't. So we ended up there. It's tough.
Man, it's some losses are better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I think about like relationships that I've been in, and I look back and be like, man, had we actually stayed together and tried to work, it would have been even worse.
Yeah.
It would have got to that point where I'm like, man, I can't stand to live with this person or be with this person or be around this person. So yeah, I look back and it's funny because like I feel like people from the outside looking in, they want to tell you, oh, you should do this and you should do that. But I'm like, man, you ain't the one waking up to this person. You ain't the one in and out with this person. You ain't the one having those deep conversations and those deep moments. Don't tell me what to do.
The third red flag I should have known. She had a fallout with one of her friends, and I'm like,
those be the keys, bruh. You got to look at those.
What do you think?
Got to.
But it's what the fallout was over though.
Mm-hmm.
She fell out with her friend because her friend was upset at the way she treated me, and she thought she needed to do more. But I didn't. When she first told me about their fallout, she didn't tell me. But later on, I was like, why did y'all fall out? Because we got in an argument about how I treat you. She feels like I don't do enough and blah, blah. I'm like, I should have said right there. But, trying to be on your team as a partner, I'm like, she doesn't really understand the dynamics of our relationship. So you really can't take other people's perception into account. We know, what I'm saying, you're in school, what I'm saying, this is what's kind of going on. But once you get to your goal, I would have hoped you would have took care of X, Y, and Z. But when she told me that, I should have said, but why don't you though? Like, why is that?
And your friend noticed it too, and your friend telling you, that's a big deal. I'm telling you, man, that's something that I learned too, is watching how that person interacts with other people, with them, especially with the people that they say they love, the people who are closest to them. Are they patient with people? Are they loving? Do they go out of their way for those people? Right? How do they talk about them when they're not around? Like, that's a big deal, bro.
Yeah. That was that, and like the girl, I don't have any disdain for any girl I dated. All of them, I'm not gonna say all of them like I'll pick up and do something for, but like all of them, like if there's no bad blood.
Yeah, I feel that.
Right, y'all my niggas still, but like, damn, for that it was crazy, right? Fuck. That was. Whew. And like I play stuff so close to the vest. I'm like, because my mom taught me what happens in this house stays in this house. That's one of my core values. Is like when you have a unit, you keep what goes on in that unit. So like, it was so bad. You said something earlier I wanted to comment on, but it was so crazy. Oh, how your girl came from Athens, picked you up, took you. It was so unreciprocated in my relationships that my friends didn't even think my girlfriends had cars. That's how much they didn't drive.
Dang.
For nothing. Dang. For me, for them, for nothing.
Yeah.
And it was like, bruh, what?
Nah, yeah, that says a lot though.
Yeah.
That says a lot though right there, man. How somebody operate with you, how they move, that it leave an impression on other people. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah, bruh. What? But I look at it as I'm thankful that I went through it because I came out unscathed in a lot of ways. I don't have, you know what I'm saying, children. I don't have anything that lingers on from those relationships. I've been able to move on from them with just the lessons, right? And my mom, the only person who's upset at it is my mom. She's like, you bring these girls around, and I'm like, listen, mom.
Facts. That's real, bro.
Mom,
that's
you had the
real.
goat, all right? They gonna have to work a little bit harder for the goat, all right? Yeah, that's how I feel. And people could say like, I'm a good boyfriend. I don't care what no one say. On anybody's scale, I am a 4-star and above boyfriend. So there's nothing. And I see there's way more 1-stars out here.
Bruh, so it's funny because me and my brother be having that conversation where I be sitting here like, man, there's a lot of like just trash dudes.
Bro,
out
what?
Here, bro. And like, and that's what I be seeing on like, especially like on social media, bro. I see it on Facebook, and I be seeing dudes like be saying stuff. Like I was telling you earlier, I be sitting here like, yeah, that's why you're in the situation you in, bro. That's why. But I be sitting here like, man, like they be saying some wild stuff, and still be expecting to like make it or like make stuff happen or like really put themselves in a good position. I'm like, bro, y'all realize what y'all be doing be counterproductive to the situation you're trying to be in. Like, and it's funny because like this is conversations I've had with my wife before, and I'm like, babe, you know, I'm out here trying. Like at one point in our marriage, I was working like 4 or 5 jobs. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and had the only income for a minute. I mean, you know, with the pandemic, everybody was losing jobs and stuff. You know, we both had lost our jobs.
Man was out here being Jamaican.
Dude, straight Jamaican. You done knows in. Me, I worked the job. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, I was doing a lot. And I was telling her at the time, I was like, babe, like, I'm working my butt off trying to provide for us. Like I'm not out here using the pandemic as an excuse. I'm not out here just trying to get the little stimulus money and be like, oh yeah, I got that stimmy, that's it. But like, nah, like I'm out here I'm grinding not only for our success now but for our future. Exactly. Because I was still in school too. I was still in college, so I'm like, man, I'm in school, I'm working like 3-4 jobs. Like it's full time for me. You know, I'm grinding. But I told her, I said, there are dudes out there that they don't want no parts of that. Yeah. Like they want to just be able to smoke a blunt. I'm saying they want to smoke a blunt. They want to kick it and play video games, and that's it. And I'm like, you gotta understand that, like that's like you see that that's not me. There's gonna be them days where I'm like, look, I just want to chill today. Yeah. But for the most part,
I want to work because
I'm trying to make it happen.
That's why I posted, and I don't think people understood what I asked because a lot of my audience on Instagram is young from my YouTube, but even the ones that answered that were of age, I put, if you knew what it cost, would you pay it? Right? And a lot of people, I understand now why they don't try to find out the cost, because they know they're not going to pay the cost to do it. Yeah. Like it's compromising time with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your health, not getting good sleep. Sleep is a key indicator of your longevity of health. So important. You know what I'm saying? So important. And it's all of these factors that you have to pay to get to the things that people see on Instagram that they claim they want. Right. It's amazing, especially when you come. I'm not saying like we're the most underprivileged people in the world, but in the structure, to move up the structure, it is very easy to stay stagnant from where your parents left you, right? Yeah. So if your parents was in a $50,000 household, it's very easy for you to fall within a 10% range of them. Yeah. 99% of people fall within 10% of their family's household. Mm-hmm. If you want to go to the next level, it is an extreme price to pay, like in life. And I don't think people understand that. And I think that's why like some of my relationships didn't work, because I knew what it cost and I knew what I had to pay to do it, but they didn't see the bigger picture. Right. And
that's real, bro. Because I mean, in any aspect of your life, if you want the success in that aspect, the cost is like I look at like, you know, like in sports, if you want to be the best, like you don't like
Yep.
of us average people, we don't understand what these athletes do.
Exactly.
Like I be trying to tell folks, like, probably the worst situation, one of the worst situations to be in emotionally is probably an athlete's girlfriend or wife.
Yeah.
Because I be telling folks, like, if you think that somebody like LeBron James can be the greatest player right now, and which is debatable, but and be the greatest player right now, and have time to dedicate to his wife and all his kids and be the greatest husband. I'm like, you understand how much time it takes, how much energy and all this focus that he has to put into to play at that level?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, we don't understand it until we've gotten to that point. But that's what it at any level of success that you're really trying to be in.
Yep.
If you want to make that, you know what I'm saying, $500K annually, do you understand how much you have to sacrifice?
Exactly.
To and that, like you said, if you really count the cost of it, you more than likely aren't gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
No, because you have to sacrifice the relationships with your loved ones,
Yes.
with things that you love to do, that you want to do. Like they talk about sacrificing sleep and sacrificing food and holidays. Like, you want to sit here and be able to spend Thanksgiving with your family, but you want to be a multi-millionaire. You're probably not going to spend Thanksgiving with your family. You're probably going to be working, figuring things out, going networking, whatever the case may be, if you want to reach that level.
Exactly.
So
people have no clue, and like I think it's a gift and a curse to know, right? Because I feel like there's nothing in front of me that I can't conquer. And I learned the price at a very young age, right? Which could have like led to me not being able to develop some of the relationships I could have had, right? But like, I can't live with the fact that I didn't try, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I had to tell people in relationships, I was like, look, what you're requiring from me is going to cause me to not be the greatest me I could be. And I don't know if I could live with that. And that is going to turn me into a person that you don't want to be around. It don't matter how much I love you. If I don't like myself, you are going to be miserable.
Right. Y'all both going to be miserable.
Exactly.
That's really what it's going to be, man. You know, and I mean, that's real, bro, because I tell you, like, when me and my wife got married, and I've had to have this conversation with a lot of people, man. I decided that that's one thing, man. I take my vows seriously.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, because a lot of times I sit back and I think, like, man, I stood in front of God, and I stood in front of all these people. I stood in front of my wife's mom, my mom, all these family members that was at my wedding ceremony, and I told them I was going to put this woman first.
Yeah.
I take that very seriously. So when we got married, whenever situations arise, I tell people, my family is the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
And what I decided on February 1st of 2020 was that this woman is my family.
Yeah.
So whatever I do, and so I told her that, like, the reason why I was in college working like 5 jobs while we was married was because I decided you are the most important thing.
Exactly.
So I'm going to do everything that it takes to make you happy and provide for us to be where we're at now, that we can be okay. Because I was like, I'm not going to settle for where we were at that point.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, at the time, of course, she was like, well, you work so much and you doing all, and because, bro, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I was at work in class. Like, I was at work at the school. I hope my boss don't see this.
Yeah.
This was years ago, but I was at work in school, at my job with students in front of me in my college classes, like while college classes was going on, because I was like, I gotta make it happen. Yeah. Like, I had in one ear,
AirPod.
Yes, I had one ear, I have the professor on here sitting there doing this, that, and the third. And in here, I'm teaching, okay, yeah, we doing writing today, y'all. We doing this and that. All right, hold on. All right, professor. So this the amoeba is the blah, blah, blah. All right, cool.
You gotta get it.
I had to get it, and I told my coworkers at the time. I told my professors. I told everybody, I was like, look, this is the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
I cannot accept failure.
Exactly.
And bruh, I'm trying to tell you, because when I had transferred from Kennesaw State over to GGC, I lost 12 credit hours.
Yeah.
So I had to get them back, bro. I called the not the department chair, but the dean of the school. I was on the phone with the dean of the school talking about, what do I need to do? How can you help me graduate now? Yes, like, let's do it. I need it because I need this job so I can get this money to provide for my wife. And I made it happen. Yeah. But like I had told her at the time, I'm like, I can't settle for that failure because it's just not an option. I stood before God and told God, I told your mama, I told my mama, I told your grandmother, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I'm supporting you. I remember the day I went to her mom, because neither of us have a relationship with our dad. So I didn't go to her dad. I went to her mom. I told her, I said, look, I'm going to take care of your daughter. This is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to be. And we sat there and we both cried, bro. Like, I mean, it was a very emotional conversation for the both of us. And for me and her mom. And I think about that. I think about, like, I promised to her that, bro.
I think this is a good lesson to tell your football team. Right? Because not only will it teach them priorities in life, it also teaches them you have to see the play. You have to believe in the play. Before it develops. Because sometimes you don't see the hole you got to run through yet. Right? But I have to go 100% until it opens up. And you can move from there. I think that's a lot of people are short-sighted. They only can trust. And a lot of it comes from a not belief in their self. They don't believe in themselves, so they can only trust what's right in front of them.
Right.
The goals that you want to reach are so far, and they might not even be far. It may be 2 steps, but you can't see the next step until the second step till you take the first one. So your goal could be 3 steps away, but you have to understand you have to put one foot in front of the other, or you're not gonna move.
And some people be scared to make the moves, bro. Some people are scared to really commit to something. They scared to commit, like, oh man, if I commit to this, well, what if it don't work? And what if it, whether that's in business, whether that's in relationships, a lot of people are afraid. Like, that's some real deal stuff. But like you said, you might be 3 steps away, but you gotta take that first step.
You have to. You never know. I treat every video, every podcast, every clip I put on the internet like this is the one. If it goes and it blows up, beautiful. If it doesn't, well, maybe that wasn't the one. But this one is going to be and if you treat every day like this is going to be the day that, whether you're dating or in business, this is the day that somebody's going to buy my merch, post it online, and it's gonna blow up. This is gonna be the day I'm gonna take you on that one date that lets you buy into me as a person. And you have to treat and if you don't, if you're pessimistic about your day, you will never move towards where you need to be.
Right. I feel you on that, bro, because whether it's a shirt or it's a hoodie or it's whatever, I'm like, yo, this is the one that's gonna blow me up and turn me all the way to the top. And sometimes they do really well, sometimes they don't. But I feel like I'm never gonna make a shirt or a hoodie or whatever that I wouldn't wear myself and rock and wear to wherever I'm going and be 100% confident. I'm not gonna do it. If I'm gonna wear if I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna wear it and I'm gonna dress it up and be fly as a mug wearing that thing out. Because, like you said, bro, if you don't have that, because that's my thing. If I don't have that confidence in myself, how's somebody else gonna have that confidence in me?
And what's good that I love about y'all's relationship is you feel like you have the person who is going to be there to understand your push forward and participate. Because if you have somebody that's not, to everybody out there, through my life lessons, if you have somebody that doesn't think that way, they will strip every confident muscle out your body. And it will happen slowly over time. You're not going to know it, but all you're going to notice is, dang, my videos haven't been doing as good, or dang, because everybody else could see your confidence. And when they start to strip your confidence away because they don't believe life, you are going to end up losing the momentum you have towards your goal.
Absolutely, man. You gotta have, because that's one thing me and my wife had talked about before we got together, we both had reached a place where we were confident in ourselves to where we didn't need to be in a relationship.
Exactly.
We didn't need to have love given to us constantly. And we were both in that situation where, cause I'm gonna be real with you, even like when we first really met, we met at a costume party.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really feeling me like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. Like
Yeah.
we were in that mindset where we was like, it is what it is.
Yeah,
But I'm
chilling,
straight because we both were in that mind of like, you know what? I'm enough for me. I'm confident in me. I'm good. I'm good for me. And if I'm all I got, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people, they're like,
they need somebody.
And that's why you see, and I get it. You know, everything we do on social media, yeah, we have likes and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people only operate through that. Like they're only operating to get the other people telling them they're enough, and other people telling them, oh, you're awesome and this and that.
Yep.
And it's like, if that's what you living for and that's all
it's
you
gonna
got,
be a lonely road.
it's lonely, bro.
Yeah, or no, it's gonna be a miserable world. I think the more lonely road is understanding you're a whole person and you're not willing to accept a person with a void.
Yeah.
Right? That is because I see people, right? I see people in relationships and I'm like, it looks so beautiful because y'all need each other. But that's not the relationship I can exist in. I need to find another whole person. And there's a very small amount of people who work on their self enough daily to be a whole person.
Absolutely.
So
that's
it's
true.
way
that's so
harder
true, man.
to
that's
find.
So true.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, I feel like, because I tell my wife that, like, I really do feel like people always try to put on you stuff that you don't really need, and put on their doubts. And it's like, what you need in your relationship is what you need.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be sitting here telling, oh, well, you need to be this kind of person. You need to have that, and this is what, and no, don't do that. Do this.
Yeah.
But that's not what you need.
Yeah.
That's not what I need. That's, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that, my wife, she'd be watching reality TVs and TV shows and whatnot, and I be telling her, I'm like, this stuff it gets in your brain, babe, because they be trying to do all this stuff that I'm like, that you can't do that in real life.
Yeah.
Like all that, like the people forget that stuff is still scripted. Like it's still, all that, and I'll be like all this bougie people fighting in the middle of a Calvin Klein store, and when I'll be like, you can't do that in real life. They will get security and they will lock you up. But like, what?
Facts.
So I'm like, y'all can't. But I feel like people trying to push their, like you said, whether it's their doubts, their opinions, their all this stuff on you, and it's like, that ain't what you need.
It's people who are very tunnel visioned in life that only understand their perspective. Once you can understand other people's perspective, then you can give advice. But most people are so locked into the way they see the world that they can't see anything else.
That's absolutely, bro. And I feel like that a part of that is people don't travel, they don't see other parts of the world. They don't, like you said,
taking
going to
other
college,
cultures.
You learn a lot about other people when you go to college, when you do all these different things to expand your mind, and then you start to realize, like, okay, dang, I didn't know that these people, this is the experience that they had through generations, or this is what happened in this area, or to this culture, or to this and that. I didn't know that these things happened in the past. Or I didn't know that this existed or whatever. And you realize, like, dang, like, I got to take these things into account.
Yep, bro. Listen, Fire Podcast, though. Tell everybody where they can find you. You know what I'm saying?
All right, y'all. So, like I said, I'm Just, but you can find all of 15 merchandise. That's FIFTXVN. All right, you can find us on Instagram at 15, all right, FIFTXVN. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook with the same name, 15, FIFTXVN. You can find us on our website at 15.weebly.com. That's FIFTXVN.w. EEBLY.com, 15.weebly.com. You can find all of our merchandise on there. We will be at a bunch of different events coming up. I didn't tell you, we're going to be at the opening of Slutty Vegan in Athens. Okay. They're having an open up location over there. We're going to be over there. We're going to be handing out hats. We possibly will be handing out T-shirts, but we will definitely be handing out hats to patrons that come. We're gonna have our QR codes. People can scan it. Check out our website. We're gonna be there, and we will be at the next Pancakes and Booze art show in Atlanta.
Okay.
I forgot the dates for it, but we will be at that next one. So come out, show some love, buy some merch. Check out our website. We have some sponsors that are doing some other great things. You can check us out on our site. But it's 15 FIFTXVN. Follow us on Instagram, and we're always doing giveaways, discounts, raffles, all types of stuff.
Yes, sir. Listen, make sure y'all head over to the links. I will link those down below. This podcast will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all that great stuff. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Until the next time we see y'all. Peace.